Guys, I'm not sure how this microphone's going to sound. Hopefully they got everything fixed. But welcome. We finally have a clear night. We're going to see what we can do, at least for a little while. Hence why we started early. Moon's still low. It's still kind of fuzzy looking, but it will continue to clear as it rises up. We are in the midst of a meteor shower as well, so you might see a couple weird things flying by, as well as at this altitude. You're going to see some jets possibly passing by. Maybe some of those mysterious lunar waves, which are actually just jet contrails, but yes, you will see some. So, yeah, kick back, enjoy. I'm gonna see if I could find a friend. Maybe pop on here since it's a nice night, and then we'll go for there. So, yes, welcome. I hope everybody is great. I hope everybody is wonderful, and hopefully we'll make a show out of it tonight. Great to see you all. We'll be back. Once again, I want to welcome back everybody. It looks like we're finally gonna have a night of it. What is up to Aroni and Justin T and Zombie? Welcome back, Zombie and Jake Snake. Who else we got up here? Larry, and of course Tara and Patrick and Marianne, and I still don't know how to say this name. Elihu. I'm guessing that's how it's done. Petromen, and everybody else watching who is not in the chat, feel free to join the chat if you want to. It's pretty well regulated. And hello to Mr. D'Antonio. Maybe I'll have him on if he ain't doing nothing. And Randy. Hello, Randy. Once again, I hope everybody is doing great. About time we get a night. Okay, thank you, Eli Hugh. Thanks for explaining that for me. Mark, let me know if you want to come on. We can do something. If you do, it's a hangout night. We'll see how late we go. Man, you don't realize how long me and Paul have been. Oh, did you all see that plane just cover the top of the moon? Just had it. Well, explain a few moments. Because you know our few moments turn into 2 or 3 hours, so yeah. All right. Either way, I just want to say hi to everybody again. I'll be popping in and on out of here, momentarily. And then I'll figure out what Mark's doing if he wants to join us for a little bit. And if he does, then we'll go from there. Still waiting on the moon to rise. We are only at 10 degrees above horizon. It's still way low, but as it rises, it will become clear and crisp. Beautiful. And that is what we want. Be back in a bit. just so you guys know, you're gonna lose sound. You're gonna lose the music for a few minutes while I get in contact with Mark, because I haven't been able to configure my computer setup since I moved it yet. So I'm gonna have to shut the music off, and then things will be quiet until me and Mark pop back on. Just so you know. So it'll be silent for 3 to 5 minutes. Just giving you a heads up. So if anybody asks, mods, you know what to tell them. All right. Back in a couple minutes with myself and Mark D'Antonio. I think we have it. Now, one question I want to ask everybody in the chat, and Mark, you can say hi to everybody, because we're going to need to for comparative purposes anyway, for volume.
Yes,
So,
I understand.
So what I need you guys to do is tell me, because I've noticed on Mark's stream, I'm always a little bit louder than he is. I want to make sure we're on an even playing field here. So,
Even playing field.
if I seem like I'm louder, let me know so I can turn down my mic a little bit. So,
But
because
it's
I
your
have Mark's
stream,
all the
so
way up
you
right
should
now.
be loud.
Yeah, but I want to be, I don't want it like one microphone blasting everybody. So, yes, let me know. Anyway, Mark, how are you?
I'm all right, man. How you doing?
Good, good. I woke up. I can't complain. You know how it goes.
Yeah, waking up is always good. Yeah.
It's always the best.
Yep. I see we've got Tara and Marianne here, along with PG and a bunch of other people that I will see. Some of them over in our stream on Sky to live stream, and some I have not seen before at all.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen a lot of new faces actually over the last month or so. I mean, we only streamed like 2 or 3 times, but
yeah, so have we.
Seen a lot of new faces, and I'm just so glad we finally got like one night where everything was finally clear.
I know, and the moon is still low, and it's looking good already.
Yeah,
just past full,
Dude, last night we tried We went for, I think it was
I
like an
saw.
hour and a half, and it was just, we got maybe combined 8 seconds of moon. The rest was just a dark screen, so everybody just ended up hanging out
I
and just
noticed. I
chit-chatting and
noticed.
catching up.
Yeah.
Oh, it was horrible. But anyway, it's good to make up for it tonight anyway.
Oh yeah.
Hello to Tom Brown and Genghis, and let's just go down the list. Yeah, Marianne and Wendy and Daisy and Zoe and
Daisy and Zoe.
Rockstar and
Rock.
Justin. Ted. Hello, Ted Bronson. Welcome
Ted
back once
Bronson.
again.
Where have you been?
And Dagger and Pilot. I think I said Tara already, but I'm not sure. And Arlen and everybody else.
Tom
who's also
Brown.
listening but not chatting. Feel free to chat.
Roni Hassan.
It's a pretty tame chat room. We are watching the moon. Maybe I think because it looks as good, hopefully Paul will decide to get the big scope out for a little bit. It looks like it's going to be one of those nights. So,
Yep.
And we do have some contrast moving in. So,
Yeah.
yay.
Yeah, man, it looks good. It looks really good.
Yeah. So what you been up to the last month or so, man?
Oh, geez. Let's see. What's this month? End of October. Okay. Well, let's see. Last month I spoke at UFO Congress. I spent time at the observatory. This month I have a conference to speak at the end of the month, and then I might have something for television to do in November, beginning in November. But then the 5th through the 12th, I'm actually out in Arizona again.
Nice.
I'm going to be teaching astronomy in the desert. So
are you speaking at the Ozarks?
I haven't been called to do that, but you know what? They're just getting back on their feet from COVID and everything, so they may or may not be doing a live conference. I'm not sure. I suspect they probably will be, you know.
You would hope so.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest ones around, isn't it?
Well, you know, UFO Congress is pretty big, and the MUFON Symposium is pretty big, but I think that they're kind of neck and neck with each other.
Yeah.
Ozark, I know I spoke there. The last time I spoke there were 800 people in the audience, so that was a pretty big conference.
Yeah. And they get a lot of good speakers too.
Oh yeah, they do. They get a lot of great people. And they get people that bring toilet paper in and like toilet paper audience, you know. So yeah.
I have to say though, your talk at Pine Bush this year was really good.
Oh well, thanks, man. And yeah, you were there, of course, and
I was.
And a lot of other people were there too, including Marianne was there, who's in the chat tonight.
Yep.
PG was there. In fact, PG met Marianne for the first time there. I met PG for the first time there.
I met PG for the first time there. I'm horrible when we got back. I was like, who is PG again? And then as soon as you said, oh yeah, the space prom, then I remember. I'm just not a good associating names with places, especially when it's like first time stuff.
Yeah. PG and her husband were there.
Great people.
Marianne was there and was an alien for the space prom.
An awesome alien.
I would say so, but by the end of the night, her face was getting a little ragged there with the silver makeup.
That made it even better.
It was falling off and started to look like, you know, the alien is melting.
I don't know if you guys have seen this, but we had Mark and Bill and who was the other one? Mark, Bill,
Eric.
and Eric.
We had
Homeboy.
Homeboy. No,
what's his name? I forget his name. There's a show.
Kristan T. Harris. I was trying to give you time to think of it. Kristan was there. Bill and I and you know, Eric,
right,
from MUFON, Massachusetts MUFON.
They were all dressed as the Men in Black, and Marianne was the alien.
Yeah.
So they had her in handcuffs and everything, and it looked pretty good.
And they were handcuffs that Keith now owns because Marianne gave him those handcuffs, and they actually were a real set of actual on the job handcuffs.
Giggity, hey now.
Giggity, ooh. Give me those handcuffs. All right.
Yeah, but it was a great time. Of course, I had my biohazard outfit.
Yeah, which actually played very well. Actually, that was very nice.
Oh, my favorite part was just creeping people out, just like walking up to them in that biohazard outfit, and just standing next to them and not saying a word. Or somebody would come up to talk to me, and I would just look at them.
Right. And
and
breathing
not
through his
respond.
gas mask,
Yeah, and then of course I had my pooter tutor in my pocket, so when like there would be silence for like 5 seconds, and they'd be like, "Oh, biohazard, huh?" And all of a sudden you would just hear. Then they understood why I was wearing the biohazard suit.
That's exactly
It was
right.
perfect.
That's right.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't make that particular sound with the pooter tutor. It's it's more of a
Well, you know,
more
I am the master pooter effect, so
standard sound.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a great time. Are your show still going good for KGRA?
Yep. SkyTour Radio is still going well. I'm gonna try and have a show for this Sunday as well. I mean, last weekend I couldn't do it. It was my birthday, so I was trying to get a show written, but it just didn't work out. Today I was up at the studio with Doug Trumbull, and then I came down here, and he actually gave me a huge collection of all the UFO books he's amassed over the years. It's just incredible. So I've got my office filled with boxes of books right now. Yeah, it was very kind of him. I told him I'd be his custodian of his books. So at least now I get to check him out and see what he got. It's really cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and the SkyTour live stream is going very well. I'll be out there, as I said, in a couple of weeks to do the collimation because I screwed up the collimation last time I was there, apparently, and that was because the telescope, before I had the big dew shield on the front, rammed itself into itself when it was going south, and it got away on me. It started moving all by itself.
Ha! Dew shield.
Yeah, and
say that slow.
Dew shield. Yeah, dew shield. And the dew shield ended up protecting the scope now, but before there was a dew shield on it, the very sensitive optics collided with the telescope and jogged it a little bit, and that really messed with our collimation, which is the alignment between what's on the end of the telescope and what's in the back of the telescope. So
very important. Good optics.
Lenses and mirrors need to be aligned with each other, and mine got knocked out of alignment just a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that necessitates a trip out to my favorite state. Oh boy. Oh well. It's a terrible job, but somebody's got to do it.
Hey, can you do it? I mean, is the plan still to move out there?
Yes, and I got to tell you something else too. I mentioned this on our streams too. I'm converting the telescope from a fixed pier to a variable height pier. It'll electronically move up in the air and down, so that we have a certain lower limit in what we can see, because the walls of the observatory get in the way. But I'm putting a amazing what's called a lifting column in the observatory, and the telescope is going to be on this lifting column. Each column can lift 400 pounds, and the telescope is under that by about 100 pounds, a little less than. So the whole column will move up in the air, and it moves a ½ inch per second. So it's a very precision moving tower of aluminum, that's square tubing of aluminum that's nested inside of each other, and it's going to allow us to bring the telescope up into the air a little higher by like 17 inches or more each night after we roll the roof off. And of course, the way I have it set up, in the program that I wrote for the telescope is with the building is that I won't be able to open the roof, I won't be able to close the roof without the telescope.
Close the what?
Yeah, right. I won't be able to close the telescope roof without bringing down the column that the telescope is on. So everything must happen in a certain order, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And that'll happen with the telescope out here on the East Coast as well. Here I have a roof that's going to be articulated off using these linear actuators, but it's also going to be on a pier, and it's going to be variable height. And
wait a minute. Are you when you move out west?
Yes.
Do you plan on still having a telescope in the east?
Yeah. The idea is to have one on each coast.
Okay. So, I didn't know if you were selling the property that you live in now, or if you keep it, or
Well, if I do, this building's being built modular, so that it can be taken apart and taken down and relocated with no problem.
Gotcha. Cool.
Right. And if the whole thing gets relocated to another state, that's fine because there's 8. Well, if you count the floor and the roof, okay, there are going to be 4, 5, 6 sides, right? And then there's going to be some hardware and steel and linear actuators to take. I think the whole thing could be assembled in a day, and the whole thing could be disassembled in less than a day.
I'll tell you what, if me and the wife decide to buy the land up in Vermont,
Yes.
the one place we saw was like 3,800 feet above sea level. And I believe is considered a dark sky site. I'm not positive. I think you'll still have some, but nowhere near what Arizona. But if you do happen to get out of Connecticut, maybe we can work something out. Pop it up there.
Yeah. I think
mountaintop, baby.
I think that's a great idea. You just got to cut down all the trees. And who wants to cut down
Well, we'll
trees?
give you enough to, because if we can get to a mountaintop and clear you enough to at least get, I don't know, say start around 20 degrees, direction.
Yeah. Right now, I've got 25 degrees. But I want to raise the telescope up higher because there's certain things that even though they're lower and less clear, like the moon is right now because the moon is still low, it's like around 14 degrees or 15 degrees now.
15.77.
Is it?
Well, now 8.1.
Oh, did you get that listed somewhere?
Yeah, it's on top right corner.
Okay.
By the way, let me explain that for people. The stuff in the top right corner, just in case you don't understand, the moon, the top one, the moon direction. That's where you can find the moon in the sky. If you go outside, you can find it, there. The moon altitude, that is the amount of degrees above the horizon. So you will see it go up and up and up and up until it reaches what we call the zenith, and then it will start falling back down again. So as you see right now, it's only 15 degrees above the eastern horizon. It'll keep climbing, and then eventually it'll peak, and it'll start falling the other way towards the other horizon. That's what that is. And the moon distance is how far away the moon is from the Earth currently. Just in case we ever need that information for anything.
But that moon direction, it says 81.39 east. Is that what that says?
That says 81.41 degrees east.
Okay. So that's an azimuth angle. Is that what you're saying? Okay. So basically that is, if you're facing the North Star and you look to your right, directly to the right, and go 90 degrees, then that's your eastern horizon. So what this is saying is it's between the north and eastern horizon, and it's actually closer to the eastern horizon because 90 degrees east would be the eastern horizon.
There you go.
So it's just a little less than it's in the northeastern, mostly almost eastern sky at an altitude of 16 degrees above the horizon.
Oh, and once again, I don't know if you heard, but last night, Mark, we did announce that we have a new camera for the telescope, and it is infrared.
Really?
Yes, and we will be implementing that very soon. It's just like the cameras we have now. We'll be able to zoom in, all the stuff that we do now, except now we have the ability.
I wish you'd talk to me because infrared doesn't really work well.
Ooh, you just wait, buddy.
Well, no, I mean you'll see stuff, but you can't use infrared for what it's for, unfortunately, at sea level. But you'll get interest. You can take infrared photographs of anything.
It's mostly for sky. It's not really meant for pointing at planets and stuff like that. It's mostly going to be used for because it has. I think for what Paul said, it was because it has like a wide angle to it as well.
Okay.
So we'll be able to do like an all sky infrared cam.
Okay. Oh.
Which would be pretty cool. I can't wait to see it actually through the scope. I mean, this one actually attaches to the scope itself, same way the current camera does.
That's cool. I mean,
it's going to be interesting.
Infrared doesn't really get to the ground, so if you're looking at sky objects, I'm sorry to rain on your parade, brother.
Yeah. But, stop being a party pooper.
The infrared doesn't get to the ground.
You just wait. Wait till all the stuff we start seeing with that. Oh.
You can't change sight. You can't.
You just wait. You just wait, D'Antonio.
I believe you see because you can put an infrared filter over your camera. You get all kinds of infrared shots that look really, really cool. But you can't look at an astronomical object with infrared sky or infrared scope from sea level because the atmosphere is filtering out almost all the infrared. You only get a very small amount through.
Good.
That's why the infrared scope is like the James Webb has all infrared technology, because it's going to be above all the atmosphere.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
But hey, it'll be interesting to see what you get.
Wait till we start seeing aliens. Then you're gonna be knocking down my door.
You know what? I think they'll knock down your door first, but after they get into your roof,
you will be the Men in Black then. Yep.
they're going to get into your roof.
Roof. Yeah. Fall right through the roof.
That's right.
My lord. Anyway, that's pretty exciting. I can't wait to see that thing in action.
Yeah.
Actually got it for a pretty good price. Talked the guy down a little bit. So.
That's because the guy knew it wouldn't work for astronomical optics. Oh boy.
You just wait. You know what? Here's what's going to happen. We're going to start using it, and it's going to be totally awesome. And then the next thing you know, Mark's going to have one on Sky Tour West.
No.
You'll be like, where did you get that? How did you build it?
Well, we are a little higher altitude than Paul, so I think that we'd get some more benefit than Paul will.
Well, who said it was going to be at sea level?
Well, it depends where you put it.
Right.
Right? You can move that. Actually, you need to be just about above 10,000 feet to start utilizing infrared. But it's all right. I mean, that's why at Mauna Kea in Hawaii at 13,700 feet or so, they actually use infrared, but they still are only seeing a little bit of it. Yeah. The Hubble infrared images are just stunning. The Spitzer Space Telescope images were absolutely, groundbreaking. And now the James Webb is going to be even farther out on that spectrum. It's going to be great.
There you have it, folks. Mark just shit all over our parade.
Oh, stop it, brother. If you don't science...
Remember back in the day when I used to call you a dream crusher? Everything we thought was UFO. He's like, nah, it's a piece of toilet paper blowing in the wind.
No, I didn't say toilet paper. No.
You'd find something.
I think it's an interesting prospect.
Hey,
I mean, hey,
you don't know unless you get to experiment with different stuff.
Okay.
So why not?
All right. Sure.
I mean, for us, we like to just experiment with stuff.
I think it's great. I think it's great. I think that it might have been possibly a little better to have thought about maybe doing some different filters instead, and a filter wheel. Because then you can actually do some really cool stuff with filters. So
what's this, Mark? Is this a balloon too?
What? Looks like Jupiter.
Oh, that's Jupiter. I thought you were going to tell us it was a balloon. Just kill all of our dreams again.
No, that's Jupiter.
Look at that shot. Wow.
That's really pretty. Yeah. He's going to grab the focus, and then he's going to...
Yeah. There's still some atmospherics going on up top there.
Well, I don't know.
Florida.
Yeah. That's good. Now he'll probably knock down the exposure so he can see it.
Of course.
But you can see the Galilean
satellites. Underexposed for the planet.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. And there's that for you, yes. Oh, man.
And once again, thank you to everybody that's watching. Hello to David Crouch. Popped in. I think I said hi to Wendy.
You have.
Yeah, so it's just a hangout night. We're chilling for a little while. People have early morning, so we're not going to be too late tonight. But with it being this clear, we just couldn't pass up, a chance to.
I'm destroying dreams, apparently.
Yeah, especially after last night's just utter failure.
Really?
So yeah, I'm telling you, it was about 8 seconds total of like an hour and a half stream. That's how much of and it wasn't even like a full glimpse of the moon. It was just like little spots.
Yeah. Okay, just for the record, on the right side there, that one closest to Jupiter is Europa, actually, and Io is the one that's further to the right. You're just seeing it closer to you, and it's gone.
That's what you get for being a dream killer.
That's it. Oh, he's going to this.
Paul heard that. He's like, psh. I'm going to take this off right when he's talking about it.
No.
It's okay.
Yeah, but that's pretty.
Oh, you know what? I should switch to scopes. I forgot.
No red spot right now.
Oops. This is not the 80 millimeter, by the way, people. Let me switch that for. There we go. Okay.
Very nice.
Paul busted out the big old 9.25. And
That's
the crazy
cool.
thing is he's got 2 bigger scopes sitting there that we hardly ever use just because they're too annoying to take in and out. I don't blame him.
But bigger scopes don't help you with the moon or planets. I mean, you still get the resolution, and you still get what you need. The DAW's limit for these scopes is well within the range of people wanting to see some cool stuff. Yeah, it looks pretty, and there's the red spot's on the other side right now.
I'll tell you what though, the 9.25 is my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a bigger one would be my favorite if we were doing like deep sky stuff like you. The 9.25 is. If I were to buy one personally for here, that's probably the one. Because we just have, I just love the optics.
Yeah.
And the one you have out in is that 11? You said, or 10?
No, that's just a 10, but it's running at f2, so it's 25 times faster than any f8 telescope.
Jeez, just rub it in, Mark. Go ahead.
No, I mean,
keep going.
Look,
no, go ahead.
Oh, okay, see this right here? You see Jupiter here? I cannot do this with my telescope out there. I can't show Jupiter like this. Jupiter is tiny at f2 because you also it's a wide field. I have a 2-degree field.
Nobody can show Jupiter like live.
That's right. 2 degrees across and 1.5 tall. I was talking about you the other night. I was talking about P&K space imaging and how
my butt was itching. Or is that my nose that's supposed to itch? I don't remember.
I think it was probably your nose, but knowing you, it was probably your butt too. Yep. And I basically said to everybody, I said, for the moon, it's P&K space imaging. Paul and Keith do a hands down the best job there is. And when it comes to the planets, that's the one that they're the ones to see. But we are the deep sky. We are nebulae, and we know our place.
Yep. And I see Bill was doing the meteor shower last night. I know he only went for like an hour or so on YouTube, but I think he continued it on Trovo just because he wanted to play music or something.
Well, we're streaming now to Twitch and Facebook at the same time.
Oh, yeah, you jumped on the Streamlabs?
No, I didn't. We're doing it for free. I figured out how to connect to these things within OBS.
Oh, nice.
For free. If you don't know how to do it, I'm sure you do, but I'll show you how.
Actually, I have it all set up for us to do YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and there was another one.
Periscope?
No. There was another streaming platform, but it was popular like a year or so ago when I set everything up. I think it was like YouNow or something like that.
Oh, okay.
That you were able to stream. We default this though, just in case he's watching. It'll turn purple.
No problem.
And then he'll get the colors down. No, it wasn't Trovo Genghis. It was I think it was you.
Okay.
But
we'll see. Yeah. I think that's pretty cool. And I'm doing it, like I said, I found a way to do it for free within the broadcast software.
We thought about doing by the way, thanks Ted. By all means you do not have to do that. But thank you anyway.
I had to do that before I came on the air with him.
What?
You said I had to pay you.
Yeah, but that was like a minimal fee. Of all the exposure you get off this channel, I figured I'd charge you $400. But I am so glad to see how well your channel is growing, though. Actually, great to see.
I got to admit, you're the ones that got me into it. You and Paul, Keith. You and Paul got me into this, so I started doing it because of that. And to be honest with you, I didn't expect it to take off as it has. I've always been someone that believes that, like, when you show people stuff or you teach stuff, you really need to do it in a way that draws them in and makes them feel like they want to stick around. You can't make it sound like lectures, which I know I do sometimes. But the truth is, the people that come to our streams, they love it, and they made that very clear that they really like what we do. And
that's the difference between your channel. This channel is more or less about hanging out, giving. Like, we don't. We like to put it out there, like, scientifically the best we can, but we're also not teachers, and we don't pretend to be.
No, and that's fine.
People that go to your channel know they're going there to learn something, and that's awesome.
They may choose to learn something, and if they don't, that's okay
No,
too.
because they either that or they choose just not to go to your channel. It's the people that go to your channel are there because they want to be there.
That's correct.
You know,
And I like these people. Yeah, we have a lot of people that like to come to our channel from, like, as you do, from around the world, and
yeah,
I really enjoy the camaraderie.
yeah.
Um,
You
what we
make a
did,
lot of friends.
what we did, I know, right? I have more friends now. Um,
Yay!
Yeah, so happy.
um, when what we started doing, which I thought was the best maneuver here, um, is when we actually started taking every image we take in the observatory immediately gets shipped out of the observatory, goes up to the cloud. So people watching the stream can literally have the screen open for our live server and see the image they just saw on the screen show up on the server. So now it's all available to them, and I made the links, static links.
I mean, my lord, look what Isabella's been doing.
Isabella is amazing. Isabella is
She's really getting the hang of it, huh?
Yeah, Isabella Melamed from Sofia, Bulgaria is someone who takes our stuff and processes it the way that I process things. I've showed her a few things, taught her a couple things, and I have some stuff within Photoshop I wrote that I'm going to give her so she can actually get even better results than she's doing. And I'm really very pleased to see how she's come along. And
she took to it really quick.
Yeah, well, she's an artist anyway, so she knows. She knows how to do that. And believe it or not, and I don't think many people know this, I was an artist for many years. I used to do acrylic paintings. I used to do airbrush. I used to do illustration with airbrush that was photoreal. And that moved into the digital world where I started doing that digitally, doing CG, for some movies and miniseries, and then on my own. And then that was also part of that physical model making stuff, like with FX models. Now FX models, Saturn. Yeah. And now FX models, we just relaunched our website, fxmodels.com.
Yeah,
and,
revamped, huh?
It's all revamped. Yeah, my son, who is one of these social media gurus, he rewrote it, and it came out beautiful. I used to do that for a living as well when I was working for a consulting company, but I chose not to continue that path.
Is it a website that looks like it belongs in 2021?
Exactly so. Instead of something,
I was going to say the last one was a little Windows XP for me.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a far better site.
Are you selling the craters and stuff on there? Because you should be.
Well, that's where I'm going, and so we're going to be adding in the store. Okay, everything can be bought, and we're going to add the craters. We're going to be adding our physical moons, and we're going to be adding other space-based items as well, including images taken in the observatory that are done larger and on, say, aluminum, doing on metal. I mean, printing, like, get a beautiful photo of Saturn and print it on metal. And that's just incredible, to do that.
I can't wait to get that Andromeda one. I'm going to get a really big print of that.
Well, when I collimate the telescope, we're going to actually take a beautiful image of it, and I'm making it just for you.
Yeah, but the one thing I want to be sure of is that I'm the one on with you the night we take it.
I'll be sure. You'll be
That's
sure.
All I ask.
I'll make sure.
Because then when I point to the picture in my living room, I can say, you know what? I was there night when Mark took this picture.
I was there.
Yep.
Yes, but your wife is going to look at the ceiling and say, but does it have to be in the ceiling, Keith? Come on.
Actually, no, she would probably do that before I would.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I did? I in my house when I was growing up, and of course, I wanted to be an astronomer since age 9. But when I was home for a weekend from college, and
yes, it is, by the way.
I sequestered myself in the house, and I started putting stars on the ceiling in glow-in-the-dark paint that could not be seen until the lights were off. But I used my star charts, and I put them all in the right places, and I made the winter sky. And it was a dormered roof, so the roof tapered down.
What?
A dormered roof.
Okay.
Roof. R-U-F. Okay.
Yep.
It was a dormered roof, and so it sloped down near the wall. So that's where I put the tree silhouettes with the stars peeking through them. But the tree silhouettes were just absence of stars. And that actually worked out really well. And so I remember the first time I forget who I brought up there, a friend of mine. And I said, lay down on the floor.
Wait, time out real quick. Paul, just to let everybody know, Paul said there's a thin cloud by Saturn. That's why it looks a little funky. Okay, continue.
Okay, that's good. I had him lay down on the floor, and I said, "Now I'm gonna turn off the lights." He was like, "What? What are you doing? This is kind of weird." I said, "Now just watch." I turned off the lights, and it was like the whole roof vanished from the house. And at where the walls came up, there was nothing there. I didn't put anything there, so it looked like you're looking through an observatory building's roof, right straight up.
Yep.
And it was just mind blowing. And when I turned on the lights, okay, he sat up and said, I feel like I'm nauseous because my eyes were being fooled into thinking it was really far away, but I knew it wasn't. So my brain was fighting that. And so the illusion was complete. And honestly, when I would go to bed at night, I had the Milky Way, the winter Milky Way going over my head, and it was just so incredible. I used a brush, a very, very clean brush, of course, and I put some of that glow-in-the-dark paint on it and made it like, smudged it out, and then I would just tap, 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 and make tiny little dots, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of tiny little dots to make the Milky Way. I had to do it right.
Yeah.
And it was just absolutely stunning. You could hear the silence of the summer sky or winter sky when you looked up at night. It's just
Normal
beautiful.
kids were climbing trees and playing in creeks.
Yep.
Marks splattering paint.
I was splattering paint.
Hey, it paid off.
It did. And when I was
You
back
were
to
good
college,
at what you do.
I used the technique back in college, and I actually painted stars on the ceiling there in my room.
Keep talking. I'm going to refill my drinky poo while you tell.
And on the floor and on all the furniture. So when people came back into the room, they were surrounded by stars. So as you can imagine, my room during parties, and this was not my intention, I just wanted to have a freaky room. My room during parties they had in the fraternity house sort of was the go-to place. Because people would come in there and just like go, "Whoa, look at this, man. It's freaking me out." Of course, that led to beer spilled all over my floor and on my bed and, in my clothes that were laid out in my computer system terminal that was there. It was a terminal back then. So yeah, it was kind of a mess, so I quickly got rid of those, And now Keithy is back.
My mic wasn't on. There we go.
No, you were. Oh, we heard you come squeaking back in.
Oh, yeah, but I can mute my microphone for the stream and just still talk to you, so it looks like you're talking to nobody.
Oh, okay.
That's what happens when you put like vocals on 2 different channels, Mark.
I can't do that, though. If I could do it, I would.
Just make another audio.
Yeah, but see, right now, okay, like if I was to in my broadcasting software OBS, if I have music playing in the background on the desktop audio channel,
right,
it bleeds through to my mic, but it's not playing. It's electronically bleeding through somehow, and I have no idea why it's doing that. It might be related to the equalizer. There might be something on the on the mixer rather. So it might be something.
So there's no way, even if you have like 3 different audio inputs and assigned each one, there's still no way to separate it.
Apparently not.
Interesting.
Apparently not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still using that old podcasting beginner kit thing from Behringer. Remember that?
Yeah. Might want to time to upgrade maybe.
2-channel mixer.
Yeah. Go with a 4-channel.
Yeah, or yeah, I'll have to think about that. You're right.
I find that still staying with XLR and letting the mixer go in a USB or whatever is still always better than having full USB mics and everything.
Oh yeah, no, my mic is XLR.
Yeah, I'm just saying with a 4-channel input, you can do.
Yeah. Uh-oh, look at this.
Here we go.
We're 20 degrees above the horizon and already getting some really good views.
I have a cat just sitting here like hugging my arm and biting my finger. A jerk.
Well, you could always throw him out the window.
He's because I was away for 5 days last week, so so he's been really clingy since I got back. So now I had to put a stool next to my desk, and he just sits on the stool like some kind of porcelain cat. Now he's just reaching across and smacking my arm. to play.
Yeah, you know what? You if you stroke them, like you go down their back, and by the time you get to their butt, their butt goes way up in the air. I was like,
Oh
look
yeah,
at
that
that.
thing's as strong as a car jack.
What's that all about?
Cats, man.
Yeah.
Can you do? Ugh. All right, now let go of my arm. You jerk. All right.
What's
Yeah.
his
So as
name?
you can see, we still have the
Jerk.
atmospherics going on. Once again, moon is still low, and
Mhm.
plus Florida. There's only so much you can do. You
Yep.
get about maybe 4 or 5 perfect nights a year in Florida, and it's usually around this time of year or in January. Cooler night.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Hey, what
Yeah,
can
out
you
in
do?
Arizona, you'd have to use a neutral density filter to cut down the brightness.
Yeah.
That's sort of a gray, guys, if you don't know what it is. And it will cut the brightness a little bit. And actually, it's an extra piece of glass between the viewer and the moon. But you know what? The reduction in the intensity helps accentuate some of the details a little better. So a neutral density filter is worth its weight in gold.
Neutral density filter.
Yes, we call those NDs.
Tom Brown, have you heard the theory that octopus are aliens because they have their own genetic evolution? You hear this cat?
I hear that. I hear that. I hear the
He
cat.
just wants to keep. I'm gonna point the microphone toward.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, have you heard that octopuses may be aliens?
I actually, yes, I'm one of the things that I'm a big fan of octopi because of the fact that uh, the octopus seems to be the most intelligent creature in the sea. Uh, I think that they are more intelligent than dolphins. And people say, well, that can't be. Dolphins' brains are nearly as big as ours. Well, yeah, okay. But that said, the octopus also can do problem solving in a way that dolphins can't. I'll give you an example. An octopus was placed in one clear cube underwater, and in the clear cube next to it, uh, another octopus was placed, and in that clear cube there were tunnels leading out to other clear tunnels that the octopus could choose to go out and get to the fish, which was at the end of the tunnel, but only one of them. Otherwise, it was a maze. And so the octopus went through the tunnel and he tried out the different avenues and figured out, I've been down this one before. I'm not going to go down that one again. And he tried all the different avenues and finally got out and got to the bait. The other octopus was in the other cube watching. And they took the octopus that finally found the bait and took him out. And they put the octopus that was watching this and put him in, and they had the exact same setup, and the octopus didn't go through any of the same things. He went down the same tunnel that was the reward tunnel and did it the first time and got out. He watched and remembered, yes, you gotta there's an intelligence there. It doesn't mean they're alien, but it does mean it's different.
What
You
if
know,
they were
and
aliens the whole time? And here,
well,
watching.
what if Earth belongs to them and we're their pets?
Yeah, and people just started eating them. Like, oh,
Yeah.
a sentient being? Delicious.
Harvey, they turned on us.
Yeah.
So that's the
Just
thing
like
about
humans,
the octopus.
find something awesome, let's eat it.
Yeah. The octopus is so intelligent that people actually have found that when they rescue an octopus, there was one person who rescued an octopus and brought it back to deep water, and that octopus would come back and thank him. As well, he said it was thanking him. Who knows if that's what it was really
Yeah, but
doing?
I've seen squirrels and birds do that.
Not to the same extent. Okay. I mean, I can't speak for all that because I don't know the stories, but I mean, I've seen dogs do that, you know, and so dogs and octopus are probably at least equally intelligent, just different medium. One's water, one's grass, you know.
Intelligent in their own ways.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure dogs or birds have special ways. Octopus don't have. Octopi.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, I think that it's actually not a. I don't think it's such a big deal.
Hey, do you think it's a good idea to bring dinosaurs back?
I'm on the fence about that. I'll tell you why. First of all, we could never bring back and create a Jurassic Park. Okay, that was truly science fiction. We can't get a genome of a dinosaur and reproduce it. I have insect amber here that's probably 80,000 years old, and in this amber is an old a bee, the tiny little bee that's extinct. And technically, there might be DNA from that bee inside that amber because there's been no air in there for 80,000 years. So technically, hey, Do, how you doing? Technically, there would be a possibility that you could extract some kind of DNA from that, and then either fill in the DNA with some junk DNA, but you have to come up with the rest of the genome and the rest of the strand, and I don't think that we can do that. No, and like Tom Brown mentions, mammoths. Okay, mammoths are probably the closest possibility to bringing back because we did get a serious amount of DNA from a frozen mammoth.
Yeah, what
And
if,
that's
okay, let's
possible.
just say, what if they find a dinosaur, let's just say a T Rex is
Yeah.
like buried in Antarctica, almost flash frozen.
Okay.
Okay. We have the DNA from it. Is that enough, or what else do you need?
Well, how are you going to fertilize an egg?
Well, how do we
You can
fertilize eggs now?
with the DNA of another T Rex, right?
Okay, so let's say we find two T Rex.
Okay. Well, wait.
One has an egg. Mark, dream killer.
No. All right. Here's what I think would happen. First of all, I'm not for trying to bring back a T Rex because I don't think they could do it, and I think they'll end up with some concoction that
Oh
is a
no.
combination of modern DNA. What?
Yeah, we don't want a mentally unstable T Rex.
No, they were already problematic as it was. Well, as far as we know.
They have little
Hey,
tempers.
wouldn't that be funny if they did create a T Rex? They found a T Rex and they could reproduce. And they said, "All right, we're gonna make a T Rex." And what came out of the egg was this thing that looks just like a bird with feathers.
Be awesome.
Yeah, and that is one of the theories about dinosaurs because we found actually a few dinosaurs that had feathers, and the T Rexes that we found didn't have any skin imprints; they only had the bones.
Hmm.
So, but they didn't have bird bones. Bird bones are a very, very, very different thing from other bones of mammals. But the thing is, um, they could have been a hybrid, a transitional species,
Right.
from or two birds. So it's possible, and that's kind of cool.
I think I would pay $1 million just to watch two T Rexes play patty cake.
I think that I could create a CG fakery that would look real to you and make you get $1 million paid out.
Nope, I want to see a 30-foot T Rex. Or take a ride on a brontosaurus.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
Worth
I
it.
don't think so. No, Brontos don't like T Rexes.
Well, I mean,
Actually,
that doesn't
did
mean you can't ride
Brontosaurus?
one.
I don't think Brontosaurus was around when T Rexes were around.
Oh yeah, different times.
Very
You think?
different times. Yeah, I have to look at that. See, there's Brontosaurus, there's Diplodocus. Okay, Diplodocus and Brontosaurus, two different creatures. And I've got to look and see. I don't remember. I don't spend time in the dinosaur world too much. I spend time, for the point of view of looking at ancient Earth to study like the life forms that were around back then and the changes that took place to make us. But I don't have a tag on all the species to remember when they were. Some of them were coincident with the others, and some were not.
Hey guys, just an update.
The
A
moon's
big
dark.
cloud bank moved in, so it's there currently, which is why the screen's dark. Of course,
It's
because that's what happens.
it's over now, Captain Scotty.
As soon as Paul decides to get the big scope out, the cloud's like, no. And
Yeah, then the clouds say,
but
no.
we'll see what happens.
No.
I'm looking at the picture now. He just sent me. Yeah, I mean they're obviously moving pretty quick, so there's a good chance that they might out just.
Yeah,
We'll hang out for a couple minutes. It does.
Yeah. Tom Brown asked a question. What do we think of the Pentagon UFO report? Are you talking about the much awaited report that came out in June?
Sausage.
Yeah, that's about what it was worth.
Exactly.
That
If you
report,
think the government's gonna, it's not gonna happen, people.
that report was just not a good report for me to see, because they talked about everything that these unknown aerial phenomena were not. They never tried to speculate what they might be. So I think that's pretty bad. They should have, and the thing that they left out of the report, okay, they said what they could have been, they could have been, objects in the air of known origin, but misidentified, blah, blah, blah. But then the last category was like this true unknowns. And they said, well, they just might be true unknowns. It's like, well, that's what the report was supposed to be about, the true unknowns, you morons. So
Okay.
it was all basically bait and switch.
Let's do some hypotheticals here, since we have some cloud time.
Okay, we'll do some hypothetical.
Okay, Mark. You're at home.
Yes, I am.
Early morning, 4 a.m.
Well done. Well done. Very well done.
You get a call.
Next question. Yes.
Saying, hey, you're the closest quote-unquote scientist,
moron,
astronomer to us. We had a mystery object land in a field 10 miles from your house. Can you come down? This is a government official.
That actually happened.
Okay, can you just let me live my dream right now?
Okay, go for it.
Freaking dream killer.
Nah, how do you know what to kill?
I'm giving you a scenario.
All right, I want to hear a scenario.
Okay.
Scenario, yes.
You go there. There's two dead beings, one barely alive being, and one truly alive being that they have kind of caged or locked up or detained, if you will. They ask for your advice. What do you tell them? What is the advice that you give, knowing what you know, studying what you studied? What kind of advice would you be able to give?
Well, being that I'm not someone that believes in caging creatures of any kind, even if it's advanced technology.
Just remember, this is a total unknown.
Yeah, but I would say...
tell me. I am the guy asking you. I am the government official. I say, Mark, what do we do? Tell me.
I would say I think we need to...
No. Tell me.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
I think it needs to be released. What? How could you possibly release it?
Okay,
We don't even know what it is.
Well,
but it's
no, I'm gonna play the government guy here, and you just continue to answer my questions.
All right.
Okay. Okay. So you want me to release this being, not knowing what its intentions are?
The fact is, these beings have been here most likely for a very long time. If they wanted to hurt us, they would have done so already.
Yes, but that's only speculation. How do we know they've been here for that long?
Our culture is replete with stories about them, and it may not be provable at this point. But I would say take photographs and dimensions and do all the things you need to do to capture the likeness of this being. And I don't care if you classify it top secret or whatever you're going to do, but do not keep it. This is a living creature that needs to be released. You have no right to keep it. And I think that we would do better to release it, and they would see that we did the smart thing. Because if they're that advanced, they could also blow us to kingdom come for taking one of their own.
So you want me to release a being not knowing what kind of viruses it's carrying, what its intentions are, why it was here, and you just want me to release it to show good faith?
I want you to release it because it's the right thing to do.
And then what?
And, well, like I said, take down all the information, photograph the crap out of it, do whatever you have to do, all right? Take tissue samples, whatever you do. But the bottom line is keeping it and turning it into a zoological object that will eventually get dissected is not my idea of a species that is worthy of traveling to the cosmos. I think what we need to do is to show these creatures that we are smarter than we look. Yeah, see, now that shut you down.
No, I'm trying to think of a reason. Well, here's the thing, Mr. D'Anto.
If you were an alien
this is the biggest discovery in human history.
Yes, it is.
And you're suggesting to just let it go. After you're suggesting taking samples.
Oh, broadcast it on live TV if you want to. Take tissue samples, take photographs, do studies and
Mr.
so forth.
D'Antonio, you do not think that if we broadcast this on live television that we
Well,
wouldn't be invaded by 2 other countries tomorrow for the
I
technology
was
that's sitting in front of you?
I was being facetious. The bottom line is do whatever you have to do to get all the most information you can. You're not going to get anything out of this creature by studying its insides, okay? There's nothing inside this creature that's going to help us technologically. Nothing inside this creature is going to help us win the war against terror. Nothing inside this creature is going to help us beat the Chinese economically.
But how do we know that?
We know that because you can X-ray the thing, okay? And
So we
you
can
say,
do everything that we want to do and just release it.
yeah, as long as you have a record of it. Just keep a record, get an adequate record of it, and then we'll release it. Okay.
So how would you suggest I get a blood sample from this being?
Well, I would think you do it the same way that blood samples are taken from humans. Okay, although once you do a study of the creature, you'll know exactly where its vessels, if any, are located. You might be surprised to find that it doesn't have blood vessels. You might be surprised to find that you're looking at biological robotics here.
Okay. Your advice is being taken under consideration. The second thing we need to ask you is now, who do you think we need to call to get this done?
Well, I think you would need to call some of the highest ranking neurologists that the government uses in their contract work.
Okay.
I think you
neurologist number one, and
yes, because you want to learn a little bit about how they think and how they operate. You need neurologists.
All right, yeah, we're not debating you. We're just getting a list down. So we need a neurologist. What else?
We're going to need a doctor that understands the bone structure of creatures, because we want to find out if these creatures suffer from osteoporosis or any of the things that plague humanity. Because if they're spacefaring creatures, we can imagine they're quite frail.
Okay, so these aliens just landed on our planet, and the first thing you think about is osteoporosis?
Stop smiling. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm just saying. Okay, yes.
You
Okay,
said
cool.
what kind
A
of
bone doctor. Gotcha.
Yes.
Next.
Okay. We
What else
also
do we
need, of course, to get a full complement of the scientists required to analyze the creature to see if there is a systemic threat from this creature. Are there viruses airborne around the creature or anything like that?
So you agree we should keep it locked up until these people arrive?
Well, we need to do tests before we let it go, yes.
Yes.
But we absolutely need to let it go in the end.
So what's the difference of doing tests now in the field and taking a couple years to study this creature?
Well, I think that the creature shouldn't be kept any longer than is needed to get the results. And you can find out pretty quickly if he has any virulent diseases that he can transmit. I think you know quite quickly whether it's a biological robot. And if it's a biological robot, ripping it apart ain't going to help us figure out new technologies, okay?
So do you think we need a toxicologist or what?
Well, you're going to need someone who can, a virologist anyway, okay? Epidemiologist, virologist. You need all the top guys in those fields.
Yeah, and a toxicologist to see if there's anything toxic emanating from this being.
Yes, virologist,
Yes.
Epidemiologist, yes.
Yes.
An infectious disease doctor while you're at it. Why not?
Yes.
You know,
So
swab the
basically,
skin and see
every
if
top
touching the
doctor
skin
in
is
their
any
field
problem.
needs to come to this site for this alien.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's what you're saying.
What? It's going to be more of an imposition on the doctors.
Yes.
Because they're just going to be taken out of the houses at night, in the middle of the night even.
Yes.
And
We have hoods for them. Don't worry about it.
Yes, I'm sure. And, then the creature's going to just be sitting, and I think, I see the moon. The moon sees me. So I think that it would be most important to make sure that the creature gets released once all the tests are done. And that should be literally a month tops.
Where do you draw the line on the dead?
What's that mean?
Do we keep the dead and use them for study? Or do we offer to return them to the living alien?
Well, once they're dead, I'm not sure that it matters. But one of the things that I didn't mention, which is very important, is getting a linguist, somebody who could figure out if there are alternative ways in which the creature's trying to contact and talk to us. They might actually have a They might communicate through sound that we can't hear.
Mr.
So
D'Antonio, have you been tested for COVID?
yes, I have it, and I have it now. And I
Okay,
just coughed.
just making sure we don't want to get the alien sick.
Yeah, right. So anyway, we need to figure out ways to communicate with it one way or the other, and maybe they communicate with light. Maybe they communicate with gestures. Maybe they communicate telepathically with very increased brain size. You might also imagine there's brain waves. There's been a lot of reports about that, but you can't say that it may not happen.
Okay, biology aside, who do we call for the craft?
Well, the
Besides
craft,
military, obviously, we're already here.
well, yeah, the military's there, but the military's just a glorified guard. Okay.
Hey, sir,
thing out.
sir.
Sorry, pal, but you
Let's
are.
just pipe that down a little bit, okay?
Yeah, sorry, but you are. I can call you that because
Hey, sir.
I think then, I think that what you might also want to consider is getting some of the top nuclear scientists there to see if the craft is propelled using any kind of nuclear technology. And my guess is no. But you also may want to get some of the world's top astrophysicists as well, because you might want to make sure that the craft isn't being powered by something exotic like negative mass or that kind of thing, because then we're talking about a potentially dangerous thing for us to try to reverse engineer and play with. No, we won't destroy the planet, but we might make a big charged stinking hole somewhere off Long Island in the laboratories out there at the end of Long Island.
Okay, in your professional opinion, I believe we will be in agreement that we, the government, should keep this craft for study. We might be able to bend the rules on sending back the alien or waiting for him to get picked up by Space Uber.
Keep the craft and let the Uber alien pick him up and take him back to his people.
But the one thing we have to determine first is there a connection between the entity and the craft? As been reported many times before, that crafts are driven by mental telepathy or some kind of
keep in mind there's concurrence here. You're going to go and study the craft at the same time as you're studying the creature. So you'll figure out along the way, during that month of time, you'll figure out whether the craft has some type of neural interface.
But I think in the meantime, we should keep them in close proximity.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, either way, just document the creature and make sure that they're not separated for the time being. That's up to you.
Sir, do you want to cause this alien pain?
No, you're going a path that makes no sense.
Yes. We need to keep the craft and the specimen in close proximity to one another until we know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the craft and the creature will be kept near each other.
That's what we're asking. That's all we're asking, Mr. Scientist. That's why we woke you out of bed.
Well, that's because you woke me out of bed is why I'm ornery.
Hey, sir. Sir.
I'll stop punching things.
Sir. Just calm down. Calm down.
Okay. See,
now, obviously, this is an exaggerated way this conversation would go. But you will, something tells me, if something like this did happen, you would have your military elite guys asking that kind of question in that kind of voice. Because they're going to want, because you have different.
Should we shoot it?
A scientist is going to look at a situation completely different than what a military personnel is going to look at it.
Right. And basically say, is it a threat to us? And they'll keep it locked up.
What I want to know is who's the deciding factor when it comes to those two different viewpoints.
Well, it won't be the President of the United States.
No. Would it fall under UN maybe?
I don't think the UN is good for anything, frankly.
What else would you do? I mean,
save their life.
That's the only body on Earth that represents nations.
I have a feeling that any decision like that's going to be made in the field by whoever's the ranking person in charge.
Really? So you're saying it's going to come down to military?
I think it's going to end up being a military decision.
Yeah.
With recommendations to the President of the United States. And the President will say, what day is it?
Because whoever does that is really going to have to defend that decision for the rest of the...
It's not a hard thing to defend. I mean, you just say, look, we didn't know anything about the creature. We wanted to make sure that the creature was harmless to humans. And I think if the creature had released a plague on the Earth without knowing, even if it was accidental, the human race could be subject to destruction,
Right.
and it wouldn't be the creature's fault. It wouldn't know. So clearly, we want to make sure the creature doesn't have that. I mean, we look at it now and think how silly it was, but way back when Apollo 11 came back from the moon, the 3 astronauts went from their capsule to
Yeah.
quarantine
Yep.
because they wanted to make sure they didn't bring any moon bugs back with them. I know that sounds crazy, but because every scientist had a strong inclination that there was no life on the moon, but we didn't know how the chemistry in the soils on the moon would react with human tissue.
Okay.
Could it cause something that was virulent that we didn't know about? And that's why they were in quarantine. Now,
yeah, but see, right now, this
life
little
is
last
different.
spiel you went on for the last minute,
Yes.
that's probably what you have to say to them, plain language, using examples of what we need, stuff like that, which was perfect.
Well, it has to be quarantine. There's no doubt about it. But, you know, and now can you imagine how history would have gone if the 3 astronauts on Apollo 11 in that quarantine trailer turned into zombies and started eating each other?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Can you imagine what would have happened to the American space program?
We
Yeah.
would have never found out about it.
We would, well, no, we would, because that was publicized on every television on the planet. And then they'd want to know what happened to the astronauts. And when it went dark, then
They could have just as easily said, you know, they came down with some kind of sickness, you know, that we don't quite understand from space, blah, 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 but not really go into detail. You know what I mean?
and
Would have hit it.
Yep.
Yeah, but it would have been classified.
Conspiracy about the moon bug that turned them into walking human zombies.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. I agree.
That's what humans are good at, is conspiracy, you know?
You know what?
They're good at coming up with all these things that may or may not exist, but insisting they do exist. And the more fervent they are about it, the more they say it does exist, the more you realize it may not. You know, it's like you can't just say Nibiru exists and just say it with, screaming. The louder you scream at me, the less likely I'm going to believe you. Because I just want tropa. No, not zombies. Because a good, cogent, solid argument for something has to be preceded by evidence. You say, here's the evidence I have for this argument, A. Okay, here's A. I want to argue for it. Here's my evidence, little a, little b, little c. Okay, that's very interesting, and that looks like it's interesting evidence. Now we have to test that evidence. Let's actually go and see if this makes sense. You know,
Yeah.
and it basically, effectively, you take it down the path of the scientific method, where you come up with a hypothesis and you test your hypothesis. You design experiments to test the hypothesis.
Yep.
I see you're doing a poll in the.
Yeah, just want to see what people say, what other people's thoughts are.
I said release it, so there.
Yep. I just want to see what people, because there is stuff to be gained.
See, but you got to keep your question careful, because it's.
Well, I just did it that because of what we were talking about. People understand, they were listening.
Well, if they understand that what we're talking about is release it after getting all the what you can out of it, and doing tissue samples and studies and make sure it doesn't have any viruses and all that.
Yes. That's why I put detain it indefinitely.
Let it go, basically. Let it go.
Release it or detain it indefinitely for testing.
But release it sounds like just let it go immediately, and that's not what I was implying.
I know, but people realize that's what we were talking about. We just talked about it for 20 minutes.
You sound like Jen Psaki now. You're trying to
Jen Psaki.
You're trying to circle back now on something that you're trying to change the history here.
Oh yeah, well you just let an alien go. So
right, and
now he's gonna fly up, get his friends, and come back and bomb the Earth. You happy now?
A week from now, you're gonna say, "Yeah, and Mark just said release it." And
yeah,
said.
Mark said, "To hell with Earth. We don't need it."
No, yeah, exactly. See.
Yep.
So language is very important.
I mean, I tend to agree with you that releasing it after testing.
Look what Dew said.
What?
Do a poll to see if we should tase Mark. Oh, really? Is Marianne Robb still here? I don't know if she is, but she's the one that started this whole tase me thing. That little cop. I'm gonna have to kick her butt when I see her.
Well, we do have at least one person that wants to detain for definitely for. I mean, you never know. Like, what if they hold the keys to especially, I mean, I am definitely for keeping the dead and unless that would start a, space war.
Well, here's the thing: if they're biological robots, then they wouldn't care. But I think that what we want to do is do everything non-invasive as we can, the best we can initially, to try and see what's going on. Do that with a living one, okay? And if you have to take tissue samples, hopefully by that time the linguist can figure out a way to communicate and ask permission. If that's a possibility, if they even have that kind of morality. Again, that's the thing: we can't assume that alien species visiting our planet have our morality.
True.
Oh, look, see, she's here. Marianne's still here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, this being a cop, look at do physical possible interview and search craft and get info. Yeah, no, she's absolutely right.
Yeah, I get that. But once again, when you come down to interrogation, that's where you're going to hit a wall because of
the language barrier
and stuff like that.
That's why I said get a linguist right off the bat.
Yep, you did.
So you can figure out a way to figure out if.
But who says a linguist is going to be able to figure that out, anytime soon?
It's a generic term for anyone who can help figure out the language of another species we've never met before. Nobody can do that. Yes. Okay, here we go. What's this? I am not going to be tased, Marianne. I will not be tased. You will not tase me. Promise.
We're going to start a GoFundMe for Mark being tased.
No, we're not.
That way we can give the money to him after he's done shaking on the ground. Make him feel better.
Right. I'll get $35 to go buy something for the telescope.
This is what you get for being a dream killer. Yeah.
Nah, not at all.
So it looks like the majority are saying release it. Okay. So that gives me hope for humanity.
I think the whole point. Dude, you're on a roll tonight.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that you want to consider is that if we release it, then even a species that doesn't understand us will recognize that we're doing something that we didn't have to do. We're doing something different from what they see elsewhere on the planet that humans do to each other. We're letting it go. Yes, we examine it. Yes, we take pictures. Yes, we do X-rays. Yes, we do CAT scans if we can to see what's going on inside. Yes, we take tissue if possible, and even fluids if we can. The thing must have fluids on it. There's actually rumors about how they pee and poop. Okay, and maybe they exude it through their skin. The whole skin is an organ that does. Who knows if that's even true?
Poo spores.
Yeah, well, that's true. But Watcher Lady, yes, we have the moon. Yay!
Yeah, it's there. Of course, clouds had to come in, but once again, the moon's still rising. But it doesn't matter. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Well, the moon's 15.9 days in its travels this cycle, and at this point, it's just past full.
Yep.
And
One
we
day.
we will be. We'll probably in a couple days we'll be streaming again. Because we'll be able to do a stream without the moon for a little while. And when the moon rises, it'll be on the horizon, but it'll be smaller. And we'll start streaming again in a couple days. So
yeah. I wonder if Bill's streaming tonight because of the it's probably not cloudy there yet. I know the clouds started moving in here in Pennsylvania a little while ago, and I seen a bunch of fronts coming through. So something tells me it's gonna rain overnight, but he might still be clear up there. I wonder if he's doing the meteor shower.
Oh, we're relatively clear now here.
Yeah.
So I'm just east of him.
Well, you have a camera like his, right?
I do, but you know what? We're going to be getting another camera that's like the one out west.
I'm just saying that you could, if you wanted to, if you were clear, you could literally do just an all sky cam, put your camera outside and just point it up.
I actually have done that before. I was thinking about it,
meteors. But Bill's not going to do it. I'm not sure if he's doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, but with the moon up there, your chance of seeing meteors, especially with the moon at this part of its phase, is actually rather slim.
Well, sometimes you can see the bigger ones. They flash up pretty bright.
Yeah, but you're looking in the same direction as the moon.
But
that's all right.
You can still instead of being like it normally is. What is it like normally? 60 to 80 an hour. Yeah. Normally, you might see 10 to 15, maybe 20 good ones if you see the really bright ones. It happens to be a good meteor shower, but we're But why don't you go ahead and tell them what causes this meteor shower, Mark?
Well, I mean, for the folks that don't know, the yearly meteor showers that we see, uh, there's a different meteor shower going on all the time, and sometimes they overlap. What are they? Well, actually, they're tiny dust particles the size of a grain of sand. Some are bigger. On occasion, you get some that are actual rocks, that come in. Those form giant meteors like Chelyabinsk that you saw that blew out windows in Russia. That one, however, was the size of an automobile, and that was pretty good size. And we get hit with a few of those each year, and sometimes they fall over the oceans. And when they come through the atmosphere, they have tremendous sonic booms, and this accounts, we think, for the strange booms that people hear. There was booms that were heard in England, and then booms heard in the United States, and the same night. Now that was probably from a meteor that exploded over the Atlantic Ocean, and thus the sound of this massive sonic blast made it to the United States and to England at different times, but still that night. And so they heard it. So what happens is, where do they come from? Well, we've looked at comets in our deep sky hunting. We've seen NEOWISE, NEOWISE. NEO stands for Near Earth Object, by the way.
Yeah, that wasn't that long ago, was it, Neil?
That's correct. That's correct. It wasn't too long ago. And we actually, if you look, the comet actually has this long tail behind it. And that tail is dust particles, particles of the comet itself that were released from the comet and just float behind it because the sunlight hitting the comet's surface heated up and trapped gases in the comet start, pumping jets of material off the cometary surface. And as these things keep happening, the comet becomes fuzzy and blurry, and you have this fuzzy area around the nucleus called the coma. And then that coma is consists of all this dust. And as the comet continues, the comet is just an object. It's not a thing with a tail. It's just an object. But when it gets near the sun and the sun heats it up, that's when stuff gets pushed off the comet. And that's when all these things outgassing from the comet push this material, this dirt and dust off the comet's surface, the carbon that's up there, the carbon and the other special compounds, and it falls behind the comet's orbit as it goes around the sun. And eventually, the Earth may actually enter that cometary tail debris. And that's what happens when we have a meteor shower.
I just had an idea.
It's old comet tails.
You said you were getting a new camera soon, right? Or is it just one for the telescope?
It's for the telescope, but what are you going to say?
Oh, well, I was thinking about Marianne.
You want me to get an infrared telescope?
If you have like a A7S or an A7S2 or whatever,
which
get
I
her
do.
a wide angle, like how cool would it be? I know she's in a light area, but like for like, she's in a pretty populated area. How cool would it be to like have that at her house and just have that camera like out in her backyard pointed straight up, on just random nights of like meteor showers and stuff like that, where she could actually do it from there with a couple clicks, in a laptop, and actually just stream it, right to whatever.
The better option might be to get an all sky camera.
True. How are the all sky cameras these days? Because I know they weren't. I know they're awesome. Don't get me wrong, but visually they leave a lot to be desired. Because
depends which one you get.
Yeah.
There's full color, low light.
But how much do they run? That's the thing.
Well, my camera that I got, the all sky that we got, was about $1,000. Actually, $1,100. Right. And it's black and white, and it shows 180 degrees all the way around. So we actually can see clouds coming, from a long way away.
Well, we really don't want 180 degrees because of the light there. We want to point it straight up and just get what you can get. Especially in the wintertime.
I know, but if you actually capture a photograph that shows a trail of a meteor, if you take a time exposure, let's say like 12 seconds long, and then right away the next time exposure kicks in, you don't miss a thing, which is what mine does. and I have it set now for just 8 seconds because the moon's out, but I'll set it to 25 seconds when the moon's not. And we get these beautiful time exposures of things in the air.
Well, I mean, just how cool would that be for like Marianne to have that, and just like maybe I'll send her like a laptop that I'm not using, and she can just use that as a designated laptop and just have it on all the time, and just
Great.
have her stream it, because YouTube resets every 12 hours, so she can continue to stream and stream and stream.
Yeah, and hey,
and it'll just keep on making new videos every 12 hours. So you can have the Skycam during the day, at night. It would be awesome.
Yeah, that's possible. Yes, but the camera can't go unattended, and it does actually rain there. So you
can get the ones with the waterproof tops on them.
Yeah, but you have to keep it clean. I have mine. Mine has the waterproof
put
seal.
it on a pole and give her some Windex. I mean, it's literally you go out 2 seconds, wipe it down.
Ours is mounted on the end of the observatory, and it doesn't move.
Yeah.
So we see it. We caught a really cool thing though in that image. One of the images we caught. It was an object is making a perfect circle way up in the sky, and we don't know what it was. And it was too tight a turn to be an aircraft, actually, at any altitude. How about that? And I couldn't understand what it was, and it was on more than one frame, so it wasn't an artifact. I saw half of it on one, half of it on the next frame.
Yes, Marianne is in.
Of course she is. Toys.
I will, Marianne, if you really want to. I'll send you down, because I have it's an older laptop, but if you're just going to be using it for that as your streaming computer, for it to just run the camera and everything like that, it would be perfect. It's a HP. It's practically brand new. It was hardly ever used. I'd send it to you if you want it.
Yeah, you can do that, Marianne, and then make sure you bring it to one of the guys at the police station. Have him go through it with a fine-tooth comb and look for the porn that Keith probably has on it.
Yeah, I've never been a porn person. Sorry. But, hold on. Yeah, you might want to erase all of the... let me see here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me go ahead and erase the dark web stuff real quick.
Can't have that on there, right?
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. No, it really... I mean, we bought it for my dad years ago, and he's old. And he doesn't know how to use it. So it just ended up sitting there. So it's basically like brand new. And it's like nothing on it. It's like, I think it's still, what is it? Windows 7, I think, is on it. So, yeah. But it would work for a streaming computer. It's got a good processor in it and everything. It'd be fine for just running one camera. But yeah, if we wanted to do that, and you could hook it up for her, Mark, right? When you go out there?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. See? There you go. About time you do something for that lady.
Hey.
Everything she's done for you.
I know.
No, the only reason I'm saying Marianne or even Tara is because they're out there in Arizona, where, the weather does play a factor sometimes, but not all the time. And she has more clear days than not.
300.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it'd be awesome. And then you all could click on Marianne's channel and just check out the sky in Arizona whenever you want to. That would be cool.
Yeah.
And then you'll have the Skycam from. So imagine that at nighttime, like your Skycam catches something out in the desert, and then hers catches it too, right there. Information.
Yeah, as long as it's not local to mine. You're right. As long as it's high enough altitude.
Right.
Then we can actually calculate altitude and distance and probably speed.
Yep.
It's funny because she's an hour and a half from the observatory in the desert. So it's possible that her sky might not show anything that's in my sky. So it's far enough.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, anybody on here that's watching us, or if anybody wants to get a Skycam, anybody wants to stream it, let us know, because what I'll do is I'll compile that all into one video and actually put them all on, like I'll make another channel or something where they're all being shown at once. I'll compile, like say if Marianne has one, and this is just an example, and Mark has one, and I have one, and say Paul has one, and Bill has one, I would take all 5 of those and put them on the same channel. That way you could watch all 5 at once if you want to see it from around the country.
Right.
It'd be cool.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Just old computers just, giving it one last shot with doing something, making themselves useful.
One more time.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Marianne,
Yeah.
we are going to get out there. Me and the wife were talking about it. Just got to
Well,
figure
you-
out a good time because I'll be damned if I'm coming out there in the summer or you'll be taking me to the hospital like you did Mark.
No, it's not that bad.
I don't like heat.
Ay, ay, ay. I think the heat is why I'm there.
Yeah, like even Justin can get one. Doug could get one. Just have like the Skycam network.
You know
Pretty
that
sure there
already.
already is one, but
There is.
we'll make
There
another
is.
one. We'll
There's
make a better
several.
one.
Oh no, that's okay. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here, I'm going to send you a picture that you can put up. This is the odd thing that we caught on the all sky cam. It'll give you an image of like. Actually, I'll also give you this one too.
All right, hold on.
You can see a known object. It's in your Skype.
That my phone and my Skype are going crazy. Thanks.
You're
All right.
welcome. Yeah, so put those up so people can see what we're talking about. The moon is coming back now, but it's still 30 degrees above the horizon. It has a ways to go.
Chat. Open sesame. Open sesame.
Seeds.
Let me.
Yeah,
How
Tom
do I
Brown.
download
People,
this? Is there
people
like
still
a-
use Skype, believe it or not. You know,
Well, I hate to say it,
I
but it's
use
the
Zoom.
most. It's the most.
use
What
Zoom.
do you call that? Dependable.
It's the most reliable in spite of
Yeah.
the fact it's Microsoft. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see if I can save this. Not crashing.
I use Zoom a lot. I use Skype a lot. I use.
I don't like
Other-
Zoom's audio.
You know, it's catch as catch can. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's not.
KC-130 Aero Tanker. Why is it saving as an all file?
I don't know. Well, I'm trying to show you the. This is the trail from an aerial refueler. That I caught.
But I'm trying to figure out how to save it without it being stupid.
Out of
Try
Skype.
this. Yeah, it won't let me like read. But
Well, keep the same name for the period of time. That's all. Just get it to your drive and then rename it if you have to.
just calm down over.
Come on.
Hold on, let me see if I can find them. Now that has because I always like every time I save something, I like to right click it and save as.
No.
You know what I mean? But I hate because I hardly have anything in my download folder
Yeah.
on my
Hey,
computer
Raven.
because I always assign a folder to it when I do that. But you know, with your stuff, he just has a 400 character name to it.
Well,
You download.
I
There we go.
put all my information in the title like I was
Okay.
taught.
Hold on. Just
You know,
calm
when
down
I was
over-
when I was doing astronomical research, my file names would consist of a file name would consist of the time, the date, location, object, and then some attributes that we would define. So yeah, there's something went by that looked like a bird. You know, it looked like a bird. So my file names could be extremely long. So the file name I sent you, Keith, that is
Mhm.
short compared to what it could be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this one didn't come up too bad. This one, it was the ones like you were sending me with like Andromeda and stuff. They were like long characters.
Yeah, I know. I
All right,
put
here
a
you
lot.
go. Here's number one. You'll see it pop up on screen here.
Okay.
One.
Is this the oddity or is this the
That's
KC
the one
one?
with the spider on the right.
Oh yeah. Well, there's the oddity right there below, just to the right of the. See the spider in the that actually that glow. That's the light of Phoenix, 65 miles away. And look at that curved track. Now, you might not think that curved track is anything special, except the frame just before it has the rest of the curve on the other side of it to make a perfect circle. And
Did you
that
send
was
me
very
that one
odd.
or no?
I did not.
Okay.
I sent you KC 135 though.
Right, yeah, that's the one I'm gonna put
And-
on next.
Tom, yeah, it looks like a meteor, but it's not because meteors never, ever travel in a curve like this. So they don't curve. You don't see curves for a meteor ever. They're only straight lines. I have several that are just meteors, but this is not it. Okay, actually,
This one I took down a little bit just because Paul's back to clouds. But here's the second one.
all right.
Up, down.
That's correct, Tom. Meteors happen quickly. As a matter of fact, yeah, that's the KC-135 tanker that went over before.
Spider.
Yep. And I just sent Keith a third one that does show a meteor, just so you can see what that looks like too.
Yes, Ted, hoodies are still available. The whole store is still available. If you do not have an ad blocker on, it should be below this video. If it's not, I could post the store. If you're going to make me download another image, Mark?
Please, thank you. Tom Brown, you said some satellites can spin around. Actually, they don't spin around like you see there. They do rotate on their axis sometimes, but that's nothing you would ever see, even as it's going overhead. It might change the brightness. It might vary in brightness as it's going over because it's changing the aspect ratio that you're seeing from it as it's reflecting sunlight.
Which way does these things post in the chat? Does it post the oldest one first or the newest one first on the top? It would have to be the last one, right?
Yeah, the last one.
The one on the very bottom is the last one you sent me.
Okay, let me go see.
Just to make sure.
Hold on, Mr. Interrupticus. Yes.
Okay.
That last one is the meteor that I was trying to show.
Okay, the one on the bottom.
Keithicus Interrupticus. Ding.
Hey, sir.
Here we go. Yes. Yes, Captain.
Sass down a little bit over there. Okay, the one that says Meteor.
SAS, Strategic Analysis System. I've used that.
Super sassy.
Sausage.
Oh, great. Now, of course, this one isn't that.
What can I say? I am not the master of your bad computer structure.
Oops, I think I just sent it to the trash can.
Okay. Because it also shows another phenomenon on the left side. There's a meteor just right of center in the one that I sent them.
Okay. You said this one's called Meteor.
Yep, the last one you can see meteor just right of center. Okay. Tom Brown, I don't. It was not SpaceX, but because the trajectory was wrong. It doesn't go in a complete circle. Yeah. Okay. So right there to the right of center, you see the meteor, and on the left side, you see that faint, weird tongue of light sticking up from the left side. That's actually the backlit light from the remains of the solar system. That's called the zodiacal light. The stuff on the right is the lights of Phoenix. The stuff on the left is the zodiacal light, which is the leftover light. You can only see that from a dark sky site, and here you can see it very clearly. Okay, you can get rid of it. The moon's better.
Sticky Icky, I believe the guy whose telescope recorded the Pillars of Creation was actually the Hubble.
It was, yes.
Okay. Enjoy the moon, people.
Yes.
Now that Mark's done with picture time.
You know, what can I say?
Hey, it's cool. Hey, no, it was perfect. If only we could have done it like 10 minutes earlier when it was all dark.
You were telling me
we'll go back to them, though.
You've been telling me about, we've been talking about all sky cams. And so I figured I'll show you the all sky images that we get. Let's give you an example.
So, yeah, I say let's do it. Anybody that can get an all sky cam that wants to stream it, let's do it. Let's get them streaming, people. Even telescopes. Amateur people, if you want to stream your telescope stuff, do it.
Yeah.
The more eyes we got pointed up there, the better.
That's right. That's right.
You do not have to be professional. You do not have to have it looking like this. You don't need a giant telescope to be zooming in on craters, like we do here.
You don't
Just
need to be
having a nice 5-6 inch, reflector telescope that you can view the moon with, and maybe stick a cell phone. I mean, cell phone cameras have come so far. You can get really good imaging from cell phone cameras on telescopes these days. Do it.
That's right. Yeah, Tom Brown's talking about James Webb Space Telescope.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be...
Oh, tell me about it.
Are they still on for the end of this year, or did they push it back again?
It was supposed to be as soon as October, but they said December. So
Yeah,
we'll see
I'm hearing December, maybe January.
Mm.
Okay, he said a guy on TikTok shows his telescope and a side-by-side comparison of his image versus the Hubble's. Very hard to believe. Well, it depends what the guy has too. I mean, it's not going to compare to the Hubble.
Sticky, I want to just mention, you can actually do what's called narrow band astrophotography here on the planet, below the atmosphere. As you realize, the Hubble has, I think you're talking about Astro Backyard, as a matter of fact.
That's
he's talking about that.
Or Ray.
I think so. I don't know if it's Ray. I think it's Astro Backyard did the Pillars of Creation. And the thing is, you can get images of the Pillars of Creation that are just beautiful. Now, it's a rather easy object to capture, incidentally. So it'll be kind of cool to see the comparison side by side. But the Hubble, you got to remember, you're seeing images online of the Hubble Pillars of Creation that have been reduced in resolution so that you can actually fit them on the screen. And that gives the false impression that the backyard telescope, whose resolution is only about the size of the screen, maybe a little bigger, okay, is comparable, and it's not even close. Now, they reduce the resolution tremendously so that you can actually see them on a computer screen. If you actually put the Hubble image at full size on the screen, you would find that you'd be scrolling. Your scroll bar would go all the way down, probably maybe 6 screens worth. 6 screens worth in vertical, and many more to the right and left. So that's a lot,
Yeah.
And the Pillars of Creation, Tom, are in the summer sky. It's called Measure 16, and it's actually it's called the Eagle Nebula. That it is. We actually just looked at it. A couple streams ago in Skyto live stream, and we saw the Pillars of Creation. Every time we look at them, I say, "Yep," and these are the Pillars of Creation.
Have you ever stacked that yourself with different colors and all that stuff?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
what did you come up with?
Well, again, I did it under Connecticut skies, and I have some light pollution here.
But was it close? Was it, resembling, what the Hubble got?
Well, not in the color, because I don't use the false color scheme, but in terms of the image.
But could you? Could you use the false color scheme if you wanted to?
I could fake it. I mean, yeah. Okay. I mean, if you want to show more images, I look at I'm not going to say what.
So, is that what Astro Backyard did? You kind of fake the color?
No, I think he actually did what's called the full true narrowband photography.
Okay.
See, if I took 20 exposures in this sulfur filter, and 20 exposures in this oxygen 3 filter, and 20 exposures in the hydrogen alpha filter, and I stack those, I could come up with a color image that would look really phenomenal. However, I could also, since those are separated as those 3 specific colors by 3 different filters and 3 different sets of photos, I could actually take one of those sets of photos and make it the false color that the Hubble uses. The second set of photos make it the false color the Hubble uses for that particular wavelength, say hydrogen alpha.
Well, I just got an idea. I mean, why don't you?
And for the oxygen 3, you could do the same thing there and make false color photos. I have a synthetic Hubble false palette making script in Photoshop that I made to try and make a similar looking thing. But I don't have the 3 separate filters. I have one filter that has all 3 filters built in.
Gotcha.
So my final image already looks like the result of a narrowband image. So that's why I get the kind of results I get.
I'm just saying with the kind of like posters and stuff you could do, because I mean, right there you're sitting on a gold mine with astrophotography, just selling posters, of different. Like, can you imagine somebody contacts you and say, "Hey, I want a picture of this, object in space," and you could do a full awesome thing from Arizona and actually give them the option to buy it on a poster or on a,
or print it on metal.
Yeah, I mean, dude, why not?
Well, that's
give
what
people space, Mark.
Well, I told you the new release of fxmodels.com, which is my website, right? It's going to have the astronomy side. I mean, basically, the motto for my company is from inner space to outer space. Inner space being the ocean, and we do all the submarine models for the Navy and for people, to outer space where we do the craters and the moon, and we use our SLA printer to do that. And
we do inner space here too. Even though I've
yes,
only done one, and that was 3 years ago.
and that was with the microscope, but looking at the slide.
I wonder if I should bring that back. Would you join me on streams if I started doing the microscope again, just looking at random objects?
We can talk about King Philip came over for good spaghetti. Remember?
Yeah.
That's
well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if
canon.
that's something people would want to see on this channel. I mean, they come here for space. Do we want to switch it up? I don't. You know what? I think I can ask the people.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, you got like 52 watching. So
let's just see what the census says, right? I'm
All
saying
right.
it would happen or it won't happen. I'm just saying to see what the
Get into OBS and create a poll.
Why? Just do it right here in YouTube chat.
Oh, well, just create a poll. Then you have it. Ray Bobel, how you doing? Good to see you. Mr. Bone Dangles wants the dirt bike on the moon. Well, I can imagine that would be kind of fun at 1/6 the gravity. First of all, you'd have a really tough time staying balanced because you're just not, you wouldn't have any idea how to stay balanced. It's really going to throw you off. Even the astronauts walking had trouble. But I think it would be pretty crazy to try it. Yeah. Rockstar asks, is there better results from the Arizona sky? The answer is, I'm going to say yes to this right now for me because I think that's kind of cool. The answer to that is yes. The Arizona site has what's called a Bortle scale of 3, and the lowest is 1, and 1 is a pitch black, 2 is just a little less than pitch black, 3 is dark, but you can see a tiny bit of light pollution maybe on one horizon. And you don't see it with your eye, but you see it with the cameras, and that's what you saw when you saw the pictures Keith put up earlier. But yeah, you know, it's just a beautiful sight out there. You can't see your hand in front of your face, but you know that's good.
You know, we're going to have to find a way. I mean, what's the word on Starlink lately?
Starlink has moved out of beta, I believe, and has gone. It's gone out of the beta, so it's in full production. The trouble is, we're in the Starlink program. We've had Starlink we've been signed up for Starlink for about over a year now, and the thing with Starlink is they can't make the satellite dishes fast enough because of material shortages.
Yeah, because I was going to say I know a couple that's using them out in Idaho. They built a cabin up in the mountains and they're using Starlink right now.
Yeah, and they could stream to their heart's content if they felt like it, because that brings that possible no matter where you are. The only trouble is you need electricity, and so you're going to have solar panels at the very least.
But you know what? That from what they were saying with it, the review, they love it, by the way. Mm-hmm. And it's supposedly really reliable so far for them. The one thing that they didn't know when they first got it is it takes about 3 days to fully get set. Like once you plug it in, it starts finding everything. It does take about 3 days for it to get to full max upload download speeds where you're really dialed in. They didn't know that when they first ordered it, but ever since then, once it did click, they were getting like I think it was like 70 gigabyte upload. And
megabit, not gig.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, it was 70 megabit upload and like over 200 gig down, something crazy like that. Like their download was like insane.
Yeah, 200 megabit would be high for Starlink, so it wouldn't be 2 gig. 2 gig is more than you could transmit from space at this time.
I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I was just reading their thing. I can send you the video. I'll let you see it. I mean, yeah, maybe I am wrong. I don't know, but it looked like. I was like, because still here in Pennsylvania, Comcast, if anybody has Comcast, they know how stupid Comcast is. They give you tons and tons and tons of downloads. But for the poor people that stream, that need upload speed, they limit it to like 5 or 6 megabytes per second.
Yeah, I actually bought a higher program with Comcast so that I can get 12.
I know, but
Make
it's ridiculous. Why should you like at least like okay, if you're gonna give 100 megabyte download, you might as well at least give 10 megabyte upload. You know,
Well, I'm paying $100 a month to do what I do for
ridiculous.
Skype live stream. Okay, but I'll tell you right now, I will want to convert over to Starlink once I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's looking like it's gonna be. And what would you I don't know if you want to disclose here, but what'd you say the Starlink cost was?
Well, they're trying to bring the cost down, but right now it's $500 for the hardware and $100 a month. Now I'm
Still
paying
not bad.
$100. I'm paying $100 a month right now
Yeah.
for 100 megabit per second download and 12 megabit per second upload. I would go to over three times that out in the desert, and equal to that at least download out in the desert. But we don't care about download. Let me answer Tom or Rockstar's question. He said, "Do I intend to do some sun streams?" I do have a solar telescope.
Pretty awesome.
I might do that from here on SkyTour East when I get the telescope in the new building. That's why the telescope from when you saw the streams, it's behind me, sitting here in the office, getting refurbished. Looks good. All looks good. And the bottom line is that I might put that solar telescope permanently on the telescope with its own camera so that we can do sun streams. But um, it's a hydrogen alpha telescope, and so it's actually produces some good results. But again, pointing a telescope at the sun always gives me agita because I used to do demos with telescopes pointed at the sun to show people why you can't look through the eyepiece. And one of the things that I did was hold a pencil in front of the eyepiece as the sun was brought in, and
Watch the sizzle.
the pencil literally burned in half while I held it in front of the eyepiece. And of course, the kids are all, "Ooh, ah!" I said, "Now that could be your eye."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Raymond, no,
definitely
you
dangerous.
Yeah, Raymond, no problem. I mean, I would consider doing a sun stream, but I'm not set up for it at the moment. So you were right. I don't typically do solar streams, but I would consider it. If the sun was doing something funky, I would definitely do it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
but
we used to do the sun a lot, but it was just we were at the solar minimum, so it was like hardly anything going on. But now that it's starting to get active again, we have talked about it.
yeah,
Actually going back and our best days to do it, believe it or not, are Sundays. So if there's a chance that you guys see us, well, actually now with me having weekend, we might be able
well,
to do Saturdays, but Sundays was usually the day, and we usually try to do it from like 10 a.m. till around 1 p.m. till football started, because we realized we need a lot of people for football games, including myself. So, but yeah, and that seemed to work out pretty good, but the sun just died. There was like nothing going on. I mean, every once in a while, you have a couple arc stuff like that.
yeah,
But now supposedly, I haven't seen it lately. I should actually look, but
yeah. There's
yeah.
there's a number of sunspots on there.
I think that might be something that I don't know. I
Sure.
don't even know if Paul's listening, but if he is, maybe something we could try this weekend. Start giving you guys a Sunday, morning to noon, since it's noon is highest point, obviously. So give us the best views, and maybe we'll start trying it again on the weekends,
Yeah,
along with the Microscope series, obviously, because we're at pretty much 90% to 10%. Yeah, maybe we'll try some Microscope stuff next week. I'll get it all set up, and because what we're gonna do is, my idea for the Microscope series was always to have a theme for each stream. So like the first one I think we're gonna do is money. We're going to do all kinds of coins and paper money and stuff like that, because that's pretty much you can see all the little bugs crawling on it.
well, what's really cool? I have a very powerful binocular microscope here, and I can outfit a camera on one side. And I was thinking of doing it because when you look through it at just your skin, you feel like you're looking at mountains, and it's just the craziest thing. And if you have a cut,
I think the first one we did, I think I looked at a Cheeto or something, and it was just gross looking.
Yeah, you would never eat them again.
You see all the like crystallized, sugars and stuff. But
Yeah.
Genghis, that's a great, that's a great
Like,
idea.
you gotta...
Just like reverse everything. So it'd be KMP microimaging. That's a good one. I might have to steal that. I'm not paying you.
You better
That is
thank
good.
Raymond.
Thank you, Raymond.
Yeah,
That will
Raymond
go
is,
towards our Cheeto fund for the
Raymond is-
microscope.
Raymond's a great contributor to Sky Tour Livestream too. He's
I think it'd be cool, but what I need from you guys is ideas on themes for streams, because I always wanted to do the money one. Because money is awesome when you look at it under a microscope, especially if you tear the little edges and stuff, and how much fibers and stuff are actually holding that together. Yeah, for different themes, for different things, like maybe we'll
I
do
already got...
maybe we'll
I
do
got...
like plants or something one stream, and then maybe another one we'll do like rocks. Huh?
Scabs.
Yeah, scabs. Maybe we'll do like skin flakes. Like we'll do biology a couple times.
The scabs
We're
are
like,
really...
let's pop a pimple and put this zit juice underneath the microscope and see what we got.
No, that's not good. But actually, the
Why?
pimple itself that's popped will look good.
Yeah,
Under the
I'm just
microscope.
saying it could be interesting. You never know.
Yeah.
We'll get some Tylenol and we'll crush it up and look at it under a microscope, and some Advil, like just compare pain medicines, under a microscope. It'd be pretty cool. I mean, that might not sound interesting, but when you look at it under a microscope, it's going to be very interesting. Depending on what they make the pills with, like gel caps, or if you have like powders, or yeah.
See, I have these fossils. I like to have my insect amber and put it under the microscope and check it out. Then you can actually see this little bee with this tiny little hairs on its back, and it got caught in the amber 80,000 years ago. I mean, that is a cool thing to look at under the microscope. Let me tell you.
Maybe we'll do pet hair too.
We could do insects too.
Yes, insects, dead ones. I want to get one of those spotted lanternflies after I smack it to the ground. Those things are annoying.
Well, yeah, you could get like.
You have them up there yet in Connecticut?
No, you can get what you can get is you can get the fruit flies.
Yeah,
little tiny fruit flies. You look at them and they have these eyes that are absolutely scarlet red. They're absolutely beautiful.
Or some sour cream and onion crickets.
I don't know what those are, and I'm not sure.
Crickets that are flavored that you eat.
No.
Beef jerky. I bet you that looks cool under a microscope. Probably never eat it again, but
it looks like a scab under a microscope. I look
nice.
Yep.
Yeah, guys, let's do it. Keep sending me ideas. I'm gonna write them down.
You haven't written them down yet.
Damn it!
Well, write them down.
Why do you have to call me out like that?
Insects.
I don't have a pen. Yes, I do.
You have a phone, man. Who uses pens to write anymore?
Who has a phone? What am I, rich?
You're right.
Wait, I don't have paper.
That's what I said before. It's like I was talking about in a post how William Shatner went to space and was really taken by it. And I was at Doug Trumbull's today, and we talked about all the achievements and so forth. One of the things that's interesting is somebody in the post I wrote about it said, well, what, only the super rich get to ride in rockets. And I said, well, actually, rocketry and human travel in space is being normalized for ordinary humans. Okay, the first cars were owned by the first cars were owned by rich people. The first radios by rich people. The first televisions by rich people. Okay, well, now everyone has all of those things. Okay, now they're normalizing aircraft. You can get a one-seater drone for the cost of a luxury car and fly in it yourself.
Yeah, did you see those? Are they the ones with the little helicopter tops?
That's right.
Yeah, those things are awesome. We should get one.
And now space travel. Doesn't have the range. Space travel is now being normalized for humans as well. Yes, Captain Kirk got to go up in space, okay, and rich people got to go up in space. It's like the first cars, the first radios, the first TVs, okay? It's being normalized. It's going to take its time, but because you're alive today, you think it's for the super rich, but in fact, you have the things that were only for the super rich just a century ago, less than a century
somewhere.
Ago. And that's right. That's how it works. So the founder and his friends get to ride first, then you get to play too. And then you just got to wait it out.
I wonder why Elon hasn't made an attempt at it. Who'd you have so far? We had Branson go up.
Yep.
Well, I know Bezos ain't going.
He went up.
Did he?
I thought he went up like one of the first trips of the new. Didn't
I
he go up
don't
in the
think
first New
he
Shepard?
went, did he?
Yes, he did. He went in the first New Shepard trip to space,
Okay.
and then Shatner went on a second one.
Yeah, no Shatner went.
I got this nice photo of William Shatner looking out the window of the Enterprise at stars, and the next one shows him looking out of the New Shepard at the stars, or at the Earth. You know, and it's really like, we went from science fiction to science fact, and it's slowly making its way. Shatner finally got to space, and it made him cry. I mean,
How fitting.
he was subject to the overview effect. Doug did a part of this with the people that did the overview effect, astronauts and people that have been to space, and they say when they look down at the Earth, there's no politics, no borders, and they're above all the sunrises and sunsets. The world is a very different feel from up there. You go through this very, very narrow path through the atmosphere, and it's a thin shell, very, very thin shell.
Well, yeah, but even tornadoes are beautiful before they hit you.
Yeah, except that when you look, and you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
No, I mean,
it's all inspiring. It's just I can only imagine.
Shatner was caught by the overview effect.
Yeah, and I mean, it is fitting because he was, the first captain.
He was the quintessential Captain Kirk. And you know what? I'm glad he got to go, and I'll tell you why. I don't care if he's super rich. Actually, he's not super rich, to be honest with you. But I'm glad he went because William Shatner, without trying and without even knowing it was happening, he got so many people interested in the space program and spaceships and spacecraft and science fiction. He got so many people on board with that, and he was literally the pioneer with the rest of the crew of that first Enterprise, which was a plywood and paint set on a back lot at Paramount.
You know who would have been even on par with that? With
Carl
Shatner? Roddenberry.
Yeah, Roddenberry, of course, he passed away, unfortunately, but he would have been I think that they probably would have actually had Roddenberry go up instead of Shatner if he was.
Well, didn't they say that Shatner shit himself? The G-forces or something like that. I don't blame him.
You know what?
I'd Hershey squirt too. I mean, I wouldn't even care because I would be, looking at Earth from space.
I'll tell you one. Yeah, well, you would turn around and say, "Look what I did."
Yeah.
It's the difference with you. I did watch. I did notice that Shatner, as the oldest man to go into space, thank you, Raymond. He's 90. I did watch as he came down. He was actually walking around really slowly.
Yeah, a little duck-footed.
A little strange. I thought maybe.
I don't blame him though. Can you imagine that? Everybody would have a turtle head poking out.
Yeah,
I mean, that's an amazing thing. If there's any time to do it, that is the time.
It's more of a mudslide, I think. But the thing is, the truth being, if you're gonna get gross, right? The truth being, I mean, who wouldn't, honestly? And I said, well, if he did, you know what? I would be proud of my little.
I would. Yeah, same. I would walk right out. As soon as they got me to the ground, I would have said, dudes, ignore the smell.
That's right.
I done Shatnered.
Is the most fun I had Shatnering spaceship.
Exactly. Worth it.
Well, look, when I got to ride in that submarine, okay, I mean, I got to see a USO, not see, but I experienced a USO that they saw. And I got seasick on that trip, and it was the most fun I had being seasick in my life. Yeah. So
sometimes
honestly,
it's just part of the adventure.
That's right. I mean, I still want to ride on the Vomit Comet, which is the parabola riding aircraft that does the zero-G training.
Are you able to? Didn't you have some heart stuff or?
Oh, yeah, but it doesn't keep me from going on.
Okay, I didn't know whether G-forces and stuff like that, whether they recommend for people with like heart conditions.
No, I mean, I think they'd probably not let me ride one of the centrifuges. So I'd love to ride a centrifuge.
Right.
I actually almost had a ride in a F-14 Tomcat off a carrier as a backseater, but that didn't materialize. And I was really nervous about it. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't because, these pilots, they love to take newbies up and pass them out,
Right.
And stuff. And I'm sure I'd be one of those guys that pass out. But I tell you, I can tell you that it's a lot of very interesting training that they go through for that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Just to train to ride the shuttle, they had to get into those crew baskets and ride down to the bottom of that long zip line from the top of the tower.
Yeah.
Now, look how high you are. You're many, many stories. It's like going from a skyscraper and just jumping out into a basket, hanging out in space. It gets cut loose, and you go riding down this zip line all the way to the end of the track.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's where you would Shatner yourself as well.
I have the next two people that should go, and you know what? Cypher actually said one of them.
Picard.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see
Patrick
Stewart go if we're sending old people into space for people that deserve it, that brought us years of entertainment, we have to send Betty White. We have to.
Now the Golden Girls. I think, is Betty White still alive? I don't think so.
Yeah.
You can be sending her ashes or whatever.
Oh, Betty White's still alive. She just turned, was it 99 or 100?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. She's still rocking it. Yeah. Betty White's awesome.
She was old when I was a kid.
Yeah, exactly. I think she was 80 when I was 4. But she's still kicking. Yep.
Just check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, Betty White's awesome. I think we need to send her, 'cause she's a national treasure. What it is. National treasure.
Okay.
Her and Picard can go up at the same time. They can drink tea in space.
Tea, Earl Grey.
Imagine if, you gotta sneak the dude to play Q onto the ship.
Clancy.
So when like Picard gets into space, you just have like Q come out and go, "Hello, Jean-Luc."
Like, oh, really, Picard? This little
the
marvelous
character was great.
I liked him.
Can you imagine if Jean-Luc Picard goes into space and all of a sudden Q shows up? What was that guy's name? John
Delancey. I said
Delancey. Yeah.
Delancey. Yep.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
It would be, but I mean,
how much would you pay if it was offered? Say, hey, Mark, we have a seat on this thing, but you need to pay a certain amount. Like, how much would be too much for you? Right now, at this point in time.
At this point, I would say that I would probably go up if it could be less than $5,000.
Okay. I think if it was offered to me, I could maybe go 15 to 20, and that's just because I would get a loan just because of the experience. I would. I'd be like, okay, I'll go get a loan for this because it's a once in a lifetime experience.
You make it back in speaking engagements. So yes, maybe I would also get a loan.
Yeah, I mean, I might even go as high as 30, depending on but my stipulation would be I would only go after the next disaster because we're due for one. I don't want to be that one. I hate to say it, and that sounds rude.
Well, you know what? The Blue Origin spacecraft just goes up and goes down, right?
Okay.
And we won't talk about the shape of the thing because that's the weird. I just find that to be too coincidental. But I think that back in I guess I'm trying to remember when it was. Was it the 80s? The Teacher in Space program. Remember that, where the Challenger disaster was that? It was 1986. Was it 6? Yeah. I was in that Teacher in Space program because I was actually teaching astronomy at the time, and a lot of people recommended me. There was a senator here in Connecticut that was pushing me to do it, and so I went into it, and I got my cardiologist folks were on board, thinking it'd be kind of cool, and I was on my way to Massachusetts one day, and I saw a billboard, and it said America's newest space shuttle, and it showed a Chevy Celebrity station wagon. And I looked at it, and as I looked at it, it was on fire. The whole thing was in flames. And I thought, well, that's stupid. I mean, how are they going to sell cars with that? I looked back at the road, and I looked back at the billboard, and there were no flames. It just said Chevy Celebrity. It wasn't even something that could be construed as flames. It was just like a landscape with the car with a smiling family in it. So that spooked me, and I pulled out of the program. And then when the Challenger lifted off, I wouldn't watch the liftoff. I was hiding in a cubicle when I was working at a company doing programming. I hid in the cubicle and worked on my program and didn't go to watch the launch because everybody was watching the teacher launch to space. They shut down work and they all went into the conference room to watch. I wouldn't go. I was afraid. And then one of the guys who actually happened to be an ordained minister comes around the corner and says, "Mark, the shuttle blew up." And I said, "Haha, Rich, shut up. Stop this crap, okay? Did it get up?" He goes, "No, I'm serious. It blew up." And I went in there with a feeling in the pit of my stomach, like, no, this can't be. And yeah, it had blown up. And I immediately felt like I should have said something. And I realized, well, it wouldn't have helped because obviously the guy from Morton Thiokol said something, and he's the guy that's plugged right into the exact thing that went wrong, and he knew it could go wrong, and they didn't even listen to him. So why would they listen to me?
I know this is crazy because it's one of my earliest memories that I have.
Yeah.
You know how you get to a certain age, you just forget stuff before that point.
Absolutely.
But I do remember with the Challenger explosion, I was 6 years old, and we were in a small little town grocery store in Pennsylvania with my mom, and we were going shopping during the day because I was in kindergarten and my sister was in first grade. She was on full day school.
Yeah, you were still in diapers.
And yeah, and it was and I remember us hearing about it in the group, and then we came home and actually watched it. It's crazy. Yeah, that's one of my earliest memories that kind of like go burned into your brain.
Well, see, I remember doing analysis of the pieces falling off because people were saying, could the crew compartment have survived the impact of the water, blah, blah, blah. Well, not after it's been separated from the rest of the orbiter. And even then, even if not, it still would never have survived. Just imagine an airplane hitting the water at like 290 miles an hour, 400 miles an hour. There's really nothing that's going to end up surviving that impact, and primarily because of the G-forces from the stopping power. One of the problems we have is, people say, well, we should be able to survive plane crashes, and yeah, we should, and there could possibly be ways to make it so that passengers in a plane could survive the crash. The problem comes with the G-forces imparted on the body that you can't avoid. Okay, what happens is when you stop fast, your lungs are wrenched forward, your brain is sloshed in the cranium, your heart can literally be ripped away from the arteries connected to it. It's so yeah, that's why you wouldn't survive, and that's the reason why in relatively what look like simple crashes, that's why some people don't survive. Race car drivers, they hit the wall and what looks like a gentle impact, well, they hit sideways and their spleen ruptures. Okay, their lungs are hemorrhaging because their lungs have been ripped sideways from the trachea. So, or the heart is damaged in that. So it's in massive internal injuries. So that's the problem. We have to have a way to literally, if we're going to crash in something, anything, car, plane, space shuttle, okay, giant flying rod from New Shepard, we have to have a way of slowing down the body before the impact occurs. And that means, like, do we bounce? I mean, a bounce would generate a lot of G-forces, but they would be gradual. We could handle that.
Wasn't that the big debate around flying saucers? Stuff like how do they eliminate G-forces?
Of course, you're right. And so part of the problem is that, if a flying saucer is going to have occupants, then how could they handle this? Well, they could handle it if they were engineered to handle it. Okay, if they're biological robots, then they can handle it. And I tend to think that the Greys, if they exist, are biological robots, because that's what I would do. They might be made in the image of their owners, their masters, if you will, but they're going to look like them because we do that. Look at Boston Dynamics. They make robots that look like humans, legs and arms.
Oh, have you seen the dogs?
Of course I have.
Those things are getting to be amazing.
I mean, you can buy one for yourself.
The
Now,
obstacle course alone was just crazy watching that.
There's another example of high-tech robotics, okay, being normalized for the everyday person. You can buy one of those General or new Boston Dynamics dogs, a small one, for yourself now. Now they cost like $12,000 or $15,000, but you can buy one and have one now in your house. You can get it and get it delivered from Amazon or whatever, Boston Dynamics, and now you can have one of those things.
Thoughts?
So
Hold on. What's your thoughts on Cipher 2's comment? That Kaku said that you could
Michio Kaku.
eliminate G forces by being surrounded in a liquid.
Well, yeah, that's what I was getting at, Cypher. Excellent point. I was saying if you could actually be in some kind of a liquid, keep in mind though, liquid is not compressible. So it's going to transmit any force on it. So you don't want to be in a bubble that's sealed with liquid, because then you'd have the same problem. You would just be a mush inside a mush. Okay. All right. So water's not compressible. But what you could do is if you have an air bubble in there, all right, an air bubble, then as you move, then you will find yourself being slowed down before you reach the wall of the vessel. And you can move through that, all right, because of the fact that there's an air bubble in there that can displace this liquid somewhere. If you can't displace the liquid anywhere, it's going to have to move around you and replace what's behind you. And yes, that can work. But if it's sealed without an air bubble, you're still going to end up with this massive compression at one point or another. I don't think you'll slow down fast enough. You'll have to have a big bubble around you to do that. And that could work, but it's, again, you need an air bubble to compress the air momentarily, I think.
You know what I was thinking about? It's a conversation we had maybe a year or two ago. We were talking about light speed. And I was trying to remember what you said about, like, say if we were to go to Alpha Centauri.
Yeah.
Like, didn't you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we would spend, we would get up, we can only go to light speed halfway there and have to use the other half to slow down?
Yes, if we're in some type of a conventional craft, like with rockets and whatever, they could get us up to a certain fraction of the speed of light.
Right.
We have to turn around halfway there and start slowing down. So that's why we couldn't get there. If we wanted to just do a flyby, we might be able to get there in, say, 12,000 years, okay, with the current technology we have. But if we want to get there and stay there and not just do a flyby and then die, okay, we have to start slowing down. And that's going to thus extend our trip that much further. You know, now maybe there's a way to slow ourselves down faster, some technology that you don't use until you get near it, so you slow down faster, saving you some time.
I just remember you were making a reference to, like, if you slowed down, like, you would explode a whole solar system or something like that. I was trying to remember what it was.
Okay, now I can. Okay, that is the Alcubierre drive. That's the warp drive system. That's a really cool and has some promise, but it's not. You know, it's complete science fiction right now, but it is on paper as a possibility. You know, and the Alcubierre drive is a drive that basically says if you have two pieces, like a piece of paper, you fold the opposite corners together, and if that piece of paper is space, if you travel from one end to the other while the paper's unfolded, you travel, say, let's say 11 and a half inches, okay, diagonally. Fold it up, and now instead of traveling the intervening space, you just step across where the 2 points are connected, and then you unfold it. Now you've traveled that entire distance without going through the intervening space, you see? So that, but to do that requires an awful lot of energy, and it requires the generation of what's called a warp bubble. And the warp bubble is something that would encase your ship. And there's a lot of problems with this, a lot of caveats. Current thinking is that a warp bubble will heat up the ship so much it'd be vaporized the first time you tried it. And that could be. However, there are ways around this. But the other problem is that the warp bubble, as you build this warp bubble, and you are now going across those little points, you're going to build up so much energy particles, so many energy particles on the warp bubble, that when you stop and you get rid of the warp bubble, it's going to all explode off of the warp bubble, possibly blowing you up too. But it's going to have a magnitude of an explosion that could literally take out planets if you're near them. So yes, you have to be careful. So there's a mathematician, I think, Froning, 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 and he did a take on the Alcubierre drive and the Froning Alcubierre drive variant. What that does is that acts like the Starship Enterprise shields in a way, as it's traveling as space is being accelerated by you as you make this travel across those two folded up corners of paper to go from one place to the next, because you do have to pull space by you pretty fast for this to happen. As you're doing that, the particles that are high energy are getting bled off of this warp bubble the whole way. And any smaller particles, any other particles that adhere to the bubble are bled off. And it sort of protects you. It's like shields from Star Trek, for any other name. So that's pretty cool. And if that was to happen, if that could happen, then you could actually get there and not destroy the solar system. Now, here's what's neat about that drive. If we could use this drive and we could get it to work, and there is a lab that's actually studying this, funded by NASA, believe it or not, because it is plausible for the far future. It's not plausible for now. Okay. But they said that, and the truth is, if we go now, it would take 12,000 years, like I said, with our conventional propulsion. But if we were to go with the Alcubierre drive, we could literally get there in a week to Alpha Centauri, 4 light years away. Holy crap, a week. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And realistically, we can't do it in one jump. We'd have to do multiple Alcubierre folding space jumps, because we wouldn't have the energy to literally bend space between us and Alpha Centauri. We have to do a whole bunch of little jumps, maybe 500 jumps or 1,000 jumps, maybe more. So we'd be going like, boom, 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 and just pulse our way through space. But every time we come out, that warp bubble will have been bleeding off this energy, and we have to deal with the Hawking radiation that's theorized to be generated, which could also fry us inside. So we'd have to be worried about that. But man, the fact that we're talking about this, though,
I know,
and the fact physics is talking about it, is telling us a very exciting future waits for us, man.
I tell you what, Mark, do you, if we end up streaming Sunday morning, do you want to come on Sunday morning for some solar?
For the solar, what time Sunday morning?
Usually we start at like 10 or 11.
Oh, like 10 to noon or something?
Yeah, I usually go like 10 to noon, 1 o'clock, right in that general area.
Well, let me see, because I have to also write my show.
Okay.
Because Tara, who's in the chat here, Tara's on the show now. She's a regular. She has questions, and I talked to her today. She's got some really good questions.
But I'll tell you what, we because me and Paul both work early tomorrow, I got to get up at tomorrow I got to get up at 4:45.
Dark 30.
Yeah. But yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wind down here. I'm gonna pop on the music, and then as you see, some more clouds are starting to roam in. So, and then we will wrap it up for tonight, and then possibly do another one tomorrow night since it's Friday night, depending on what the weather is. Once again, thank you for joining me, brother
Hey, no
from
worries.
another mother.
No worries, brother.
My sister from another mister.
Okay, that's a little weird. Okay.
But yeah. So what I'll do is I'll hang up with you, and then we'll probably end in the next 5 minutes or so with your last little peaks of the moon. But once again, people, I am sitting here talking with Mark D'Antonio. You can check him out on Explain Files and What on Earth, and of course SkyTour Radio on KGRA.
Well, now the latest things is I'm doing that Proof is Out There TV
Proof
series
is out there.
And on Discovery Plus, you can watch us, watch Ben Hansen, myself, and Melissa Tittle as investigators on Alien Invasion Hudson Valley, which is
a really good show.
It was a very good show that it could have been bad. It could have made it really bad. But Ben and I both said, "Don't make it stupid. We hope you don't make it stupid."
Yeah.
And they did not. Okay, to their credit, which is really nice. Yeah.
Yep. It's check it out. It's definitely something different. It's something different that I've ever seen from Mark himself, which I found kind of refreshing. Instead of you just being a on camera asking your opinion, you're actually in the field doing the stuff, which was awesome. So once again, thank you to Mark. You can check him out on the SkyTour Radio. You're 6 to 8 Sundays, Bill?
Yeah. It's 6 to 8 on Sunday nights, and then Eastern time.
Yep.
And then Sky Tour live stream. Well, I have 300 clear nights a year in Arizona, so I try to stream as often as possible.
Yep.
And I have to say, listeners and watchers have been very supportive and donated to us, which is great because, I don't get anything from Sky Tour live stream and I don't get paid for Sky Tour radio. I just do this out of the love for astronomy, and that they're both astronomy shows and stream.
Well
So
deserved.
it's all good stuff, man. Just like yours.
And once again, if one of the mods can post Mark's channel in the chat, if anybody wants to go and subscribe over there, he is streaming from Sky Tour West pretty frequently now. Got some collimation to do, obviously, from what he said, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's okay.
but it's good.
Yeah,
So, Mark, thank
good.
you once again, and hopefully, I'll talk to you Sunday if you're up for it. If not, no big deal. We'll catch you on the other side once the new moon cycle begins. Thank you, my friend.
Glad it's not Saturday because I'm doing something for somebody down in Brazil that day. So,
Yep,
we'll see.
Yep,
Nice.
we'll figure it out.
Okay,
So
I
once
put the
again-
link up. I just put the link up there in case anybody wants to.
There you go. That's
subscribe
what I was
to
going to
Sky.
ask if any of the mods had the link to your channel. So yeah, go ahead and jump over there and subscribe to Mark, and you will learn something, and you will see deep sky objects live.
Oh
You can
yeah.
also download all the images that you want from what they're doing that night. It's really cool. So check it out. Mark, thank you. I appreciate you coming on as always, and I'll
All right.
talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Hey, guys, have a good night. I'll be around. Thanks, Keith.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
Bye bye.
And that was Mark D'Antonio. Once again, you can check him out everywhere. He's all over the Discovery channels and everything like that. Another thing I want to make clear, if we go to stream tomorrow night, it won't be until late. We probably won't start till after 11. That way we start with the moon already up, and then we get towards zenith, so we'll get some really good views. So if we are going to stream tomorrow night, it will be a late stream. Just throwing it out there. And yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this music back on and finish it out, and then we'll hopefully see you tomorrow night. So everybody, thanks for joining. Take care. Thanks for participating in the chat, and for those watching, much appreciated. We will see you tomorrow, hopefully. Keep your fingers crossed for the weather. Good night, everybody.